And we are live, ladies and gentlemen. The Watchers Podcast, WATCHERZ.
No hard ER.
No hard ER? Why not?
We're gonna be civilized this week.
Oh yeah. We got a guest tonight.
Do we
Yeah,
have to be civilized?
We got guests over.
Damn.
Okay.
We're gonna be
Special guest.
episode 56. If I have not said that,
56.
thank you. Let's just get into it. We got a special guest tonight, ladies and gentlemen. Derrick Lewis, TheDLewPodcast.
Thank you.
Actor extraordinaire. He got a extensive resume. We got recording artist, actor, ring announcer. That's at the Monster Factory and ECWA. And his own podcast, the TheDLewPodcast on the Believe Network, ladies and gentlemen. God dang. Oh, sorry, I don't mean to curse.
He's a very busy man.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Let's just, I already introduced you, but for everybody who's still new, I'm Tavon, Tri-State_Tip on IG.
Tiger Hilly 19 on Snapchats and IGZs. Facebook by way of the government. Jason Williams. Follow the stripes.
Go ahead.
Oh, we gonna skip Derrick?
Yeah, I kind of introduced him, but we're going to get back to him.
I'm messing. Smittywood 365 on Instagram.
Sorry, Smitty Green Giant on Instagram.
Okay.
Corey Jones.
Somebody's Christmas shopping.
So yes, sir, Mr. Lewis. Tell the people something I didn't tell them about yourself already. Whatever you care to share, sir. The floor is yours.
Sure, man. Wow. Where do I start? I've known you. It's weird because I met Jules about 16 years ago, whatever it was.
17, 16.
Yeah, something like that. And then I met Brian, Jason, and I met Corey. So it's like, and of course I met Tavon. So it's like I don't feel like I'm a guest. I just feel like I'm just joining my friends that I haven't seen. I talk to them every day, but it's like we don't really get together as much. But for those that are watching or listening, again, I've been dabbling in the entertainment world for about 14 years now, and starting as an actor. And some of the films that I've been in, I was in the very first Creed movie. I was in that. I was in Man on the Ledge and a few other television shows and web series and things of that nature. Then dabbled in the podcast world, about 9, almost 10 years ago now, and I did about 7 episodes, and I just relaunched it this past January, and I got signed to Believe Network out of California. And it's been a really, really good experience doing that, and what the opportunity I was given, being a part of Believe. And I was supposed to have been doing one record in 2016, and I thought that was going to be it. I was like, I'm going to do one song, and that's it. And here I am, and I just released my 3rd record in August called Espacion with Angie Stars out of Brooklyn. And I got involved in the world of professional wrestling 5 years ago. I got brought on as a backstage interviewer at the Monster Factory. Shout out to Danny Cage, my coach, my mentor, in the world of professional wrestling, got me started. And he basically got promoted to ring announcer, and I was shadowing a guy named Derrick Moore, and it basically became my baby. And I've been really involved heavily in professional wrestling with them. I'm still at ECWA. I was working for the SWF, but I'm no longer there. And so again, I'm just dabbling in a lot of different things. And again, it's all under my my company, Luciette Music. That's basically the parent company for like all that I'm doing in the world of entertainment. So thank you all for allowing me to be here. Like I said, I just want to have some fun and talk a little bit of everything.
Okay.
Yeah. Big show tonight.
Okay.
First of all, how's everybody's week?
Not bad.
It's great.
Thanksgiving happened, so
Yeah.
Happy Thanksgiving to everybody, or
Absolutely.
Turkey Day, whatever it is that you want to call it, or hopefully you just got to spend some time with loved ones,
Absolutely.
friends. But I can't complain.
Mm-hmm.
I'm still full on Tetrafan right now.
Yeah, I definitely feel a lot fatter.
Okay. So yeah, obviously the biggest news that is on everybody's list to talk about right now.
It's definitely water.
Survivor Series, and some of the events that occurred during Survivor Series. Okay. Before we get into the real juicy parts, let's just talk about the pay-per-view itself, or what they don't call it pay-per-views, what they call it,
Premium live event.
premium live event,
It's still pay-per-view.
PLEs.
Yeah, 'cause they still charging people.
Well, yeah, unless
Yeah.
you still get Peacock for free for them. But
they just want to have their own little spin on it. Because everybody else got to call it pay-per-views.
They remixed
We
it.
want to call Lars PL. What is it called?
PLE.
PLEs? I could call it PLMs.
How would you rate
What is that?
the PLE itself? You can bring up, we'll talk individual pieces in depth, but just the overall event itself.
I gave it a solid 9 across the board. I mean, from the opening match into the main, to the main event, I think every match delivered. Every match did what it was supposed to do. When you're booking a card, and I don't care what company it is, if it's WWE, if it's AEW, if it's Ring of Honor, if it's any indie company, you want to make sure that your first match you open it up with a bang. A lot of people, it was a perception of you're the first match. Oh, you're the first match. No, you're the first match that the people, the paying customer sees. So that opening match with the women's War Games match set the tone for the rest of the night. And a lot of people have to follow that match. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And just, oh my God, I'm going to go through the card now. But even with the Intercontinental title match, with The Miz and Gunther, they really made you think that The Miz was going to do it.
That was a good match.
It was a good match, and it told a really good story. It was a very simplistic story. You had sympathy for the babyface, right?
And Miz becoming a babyface all of a sudden, I'm not mad at it. I'm actually, I enjoy. I feel like he's one of those guys where to me, he's been a career heel, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Like he's just been heel more than he's been face.
Babyface, right?
And I don't want to say it's toward the end of his career, but it's not his prime, right? And for guys like that I feel like part of his heel pop is the acknowledgement of the time. He didn't have it easy starting in.
No,
right?
he didn't.
No, I didn't.
And for him to become almost a staple in that franchise, but just think about the people that came in after him, came in before him, who aren't, well, you can't really say before him, but after him, who aren't with that company no more, you kind of fell off. For him to have the longevity from where he started, I would have never guessed.
And to think that when the idea was he was to host Friday Night SmackDown in 2006, John Laurinaitis distinctly told him, "You're going to be the Ryan Seacrest of WWE." Now imagine that, because you figure The Miz did the Indies. Like people think that he just got signed to WWE. No, he actually was a UPW out in California.
Okay.
You know what I mean? With Rick Basman, he did that.
Really?
And he was working the independents. So yeah, he was on the Indies.
I
True
wasn't.
story.
I
Yeah.
didn't even know that.
I didn't know he did. I heard he
did.
did an indie show. I didn't know he actually started it.
And then you figure he was a part of the Deep South wrestling guys, with Kofi and MVP and those guys. Then he gets brought up to the main roster to host Friday Night SmackDown. And he was going to be, as it was said in the dirt sheet, though, he was going to be the Ryan Seacrest of WWE. And for him to weather all of the garbage that he had to go through, imagine getting kicked out of a locker room because you're standing over someone's back eating chicken. You're literally kicked out of the locker room.
Right.
No one likes you because of the perception with the boys is, he's a reality show guy.
Exactly.
He didn't pay his dues, but truth of the matter is he actually did pay his dues. They were just being idiots. But to me, it's all about the longevity. It's all about the long haul, and The Miz has been there and done it. And he's main event at WrestleMania. No one could ever take that away from him and beat the top guy in the company at WrestleMania.
Yep.
So kudos to The Miz for that.
Yes.
It's crazy when I used to watch him on Real World.
Right.
When he was on it. And he'd be walking up and down the hall calling himself The Miz.
Mm-hmm.
It was a very
And that's
rock.
not-
It was like a rock-esque personality, and I thought it was like, he watches pro wrestling.
Yeah.
And he walked around, I'm The Miz, and acting like The Rock and all that, just to see him actually become The Miz in WWE that's crazy.
Yeah, it is.
He winning in life, period.
Yes, he is.
Absolutely. In so many ways.
But to me, I think like The Miz then turned into that guy that if he's your favorite, whoever your favorite is, whether it's indie, NXT, whoever, like I think they put you in there with him to battle him on the microphone and also to have to fight him in the ring. And I think he's one of those guys that he's gonna bump for you and make you look really good and let you showcase all that you have. So when you go on to the next level, people already know that you can do this and do it good because you done did it with the Miz first. Kind of like what Ziggler was before he got like.
I would even say this: who I thought was one of the measuring stick guys was X-Pac. He was one of those guys that if you had a bad match with him, then you weren't good. He would either he'll give Vince the or. He was one of those guys. I would say Danielson was one of those guys too when he was up at WWE. You know what I mean? So I think the Miz is in a perfect spot as a veteran. Is that no matter if he wins or loses, he's still over.
Yeah.
No matter what, they're still gonna chant Miz TV whenever he's out there. They're always gonna chant the Miz is awesome, whatever it is. They're chanting. Pat Patterson had an old saying. At least they're chanting your name.
Yeah.
Regardless of if they're booing you, or if they're souring on you, or whatever, if they're still chanting your name, you're doing something right.
Yeah.
100%.
Anybody else with overall grades for the event?
I'm giving it a 9.
9?
A good 9 because it was matches on there that I wasn't expecting to be good that were really good.
Mm-hmm.
Between the Miz and then was it the Santos Escobar and Dragon Lee match?
Yeah, man.
Really good. Man.
Mm-hmm.
I wish they had a little bit more time though.
A particular favorite?
My particular favorite, it was the women's match.
The
women's
War
War
Games.
Yeah.
Okay.
That was really good.
It was a
That
good
was-
match. It was a really good match.
I'll
Yep.
give them that, man.
Yep, really good
They
match.
stole the night.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm down the board too, 9.
9s.
Mm-hmm.
Favorite match?
Pretty much for the same reasons. Same favorite match. The ladies, they. I don't know if they even go in the back and just look at the other guys that's coming out and say top that. You know what I mean? Or if they go out before they go out, they say, "Why should we do? I feel sorry for you after this." You know what I mean? And it goes like what Derrick was saying. You need to have that match to give the crowd that bang, and then to have that kind of match in that city where they love pro wrestling. I think that just set the whole night off. Even if CM Punk didn't come out at the end,
Right.
I think it still would have been one of those nights where it's like, man, that was a great pay-per-view. He's the icing on the cake.
Yep. Agreed.
Jason.
I don't have a score, but it was a solid pay-per-view. The women's War Games was pretty good. The spot with Io Sky and the trash can was wild.
They said she had flashbacks. She was still at
Yeah, that match and
That's a lot of trust too.
that one and Gunther and the Miz were probably my 2 favorites. The men's match was all right. It did what it was supposed to do for what it needed to bridge over to. So
I think everybody was just really excited to see Randy come out.
Yeah.
I think that was like the build up for it. So.
And not only that, I think they probably like, yo, we got to bring this crowd down. These people got to drive home.
Yeah.
We getting on a bus or a plane. These people got to drive home. We got to bring their emotions down a lot because it's Chicago and they are wild. Like they was lit for that whole pay-per-view. And it's like every match, none of them were sitting down. So I guarantee
Right.
they probably like, okay, y'all, these people need to go home after
even
this.
Rhea
They've
and
been
them
drinking.
got it.
It's how they got to go home, nice and happy
Rhea,
till the end.
even Rhea and Zoe Starks got it in, man.
They did.
yeah.
And Zoe, let me tell you something right now. Zoe is going to be a major player, I think, 2024. And I was telling somebody last night, I wish they had a mid-card title for the women at WWE because if I had the pencil, I would put, if they had like a U.S. title over IC women's title, whatever the case, I would put it on Zoe Stark right away and let her run the table with it.
I think that's in the cards.
They may have to do that, man.
Because the women's tag titles is kind of like, they have them, but I don't think they had anybody that could run with them like how they did when they had Sasha and Bayley together.
Or Sasha and Naomi and Vince.
Yeah, that's a tragedy all to itself.
Yeah, it's bad.
Corey. Any thoughts on pay-per-view? Did you watched it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you were talking about thoughts on the pay-per-view as a whole.
-10.
What?
Nah, it was
Always
straight.
one.
I liked it. It was a 10 for me.
Okay.
I said 10.
It's a 10. The pay-per-views Hunter been doing, I liked every. I haven't sat here and been like, yo, they whack. All of them been good. The storytelling, it all adds up. I like storytelling. It reminds me of old wrestling that I grew up watching.
It's not about mood, and it's crazy because a lot of times sometimes I'll go to some of the training at Monster Factory, and some of the things that Danny says a lot of times, it's not so much about moves. It's really it's all about feeling, how you make people feel. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Because you could do a corkscrew moonsault, or you could do a freaking suicida or whatever, and all that and then what? Then what?
I don't care for that.
Right. And
I
it's
got one
The
question.
challenge is learning how to spell that stuff.
right.
Do you think
Super Cena.
Suicide, suicide.
I do got one question.
What's up?
Do you think them having less matches on the card is a good thing or a bad thing?
I think you can actually. I look at it from this perspective. Number one, I think less is more. And how can I miss you if you don't go away?
Right.
Because in that way now you look forward. Because I mean, think of it this way. Let's look at the real sports for a second. UFC, you don't see the same fighters every month, right?
Right.
So giving the Bloodline a rest, I thought was good. The Bloodline was not on the. I mean, you can't count Jay, but the Bloodline wasn't on the pay-per-view.
I needed Roman though. Wow.
Yeah,
I needed Roman first. That's a big 4 pay-per-view. You need Roman, man.
yeah. I was a bit confused about that when I saw the news that he's not going to be there till the Royal Rumble, like the setup.
And then like the other thing, I don't like, you just had Solo destroy Cena. Didn't happen.
Nothing.
Yeah, yeah.
That's me personally. That's what I thought was going to come out at the end.
I was just about to say that.
I thought it was going to be Roman, Solo, Jimmy, and then someone else that they was bringing out, and they were going to wreck everybody. Because it was just like real odd that 2 weeks ago they had Cody Rhodes come out and help LA Knight. It just seemed like out of place to me. It's like, wait a minute, what is he there for? Like him and LA Knight ain't never rapped with each other that I can remember. Where it's like, okay, there's a reason for this to happen. I didn't see a
I
reason.
think that was just to throw people off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
To make it think he's going to be the 5th.
I know this. I got.
Oh, that okay.
Oh.
Yeah, that,
I got one more thing though, and I know this wasn't on the thing, but it's just popped in my head real quick. Now we got We got Punk coming back. You got Randy coming back. Now you got LA Knight. You think he's gonna be like lost in the mix, or do you think he's gonna? Is this gonna like start pushing him even more now?
No, I don't think so. If anything else, this is going to help elevate him because here's my thing. I was thinking that he was going to beat Logan Paul at WrestleMania for the U.S. title.
That's what's going to happen. I think that's his match.
You've been saying that for like,
I think
And
that's
Corey,
his match.
Corey, we never had this discussion. So I mean, I want to make that we didn't even talk about that. I believe that's the match because remember the promo for Money in the Bank where he interrupted. Was it Shinsuke, Ricochet, and Logan Paul? And he said something about you make videos for 14-year-old girls, think you're a megastar? Nah. Yeah. I think they need to revisit that promo when they start, maybe plant some seeds at the Royal Rumble.
Yeah, he's going to eliminate him.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think they should start that. I think a lot of feuds and stories should start at this coming Royal Rumble.
Either that or I think since they don't got a pay-per-view in December, you can start building a lot of stuff. Mm-hmm. That's why I think, like I was telling them last night. Well, I don't want to call it subject, but what I watched, I don't want to mess up y'all.
No, go ahead.
You sure?
No, go ahead.
Nah, so I was telling them, I was like, yo, like the next one to come home is going to be, I think it's going to be Mercedes, Monet, because when them girls finally like beat up on Bailey, she's going to be gone for a minute, and then Bailey going to come back. She's going to have Sasha with her.
that'd be awesome. Because Bailey got like one of they when they do their little interviews in the backstage after their matches and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. Bailey had cut this promo, and she was at the end of it. She told I forgot, was it Kathy Kelly?
Yeah, that was Kathy Kelly. Yeah,
she was like, maybe you can go and find my teammates. I was like, ooh. I said they dipped on her.
Yeah.
I said, oh, okay.
they planting it.
Seeds planted.
And remember, she took the pin, so they're going to be like, you lost, we didn't.
Now, what would make me really scratch my head is if Naomi loses her title at Turning Point.
But we don't know how long her contract is for either. I don't know if it's per appearance.
I think she's gonna be there for a while.
But
I'm just saying,
Impact.
if she loses her title, it's gonna make my antennas go up.
Yeah.
Okay, but then that's still they missing one, and then you gotta remember the report is that the triad triangle they're getting somebody that we don't even see who's coming.
Yeah.
Like it's supposed to throw us off. Like, damn, you got that person to turn, and I'm literally trying to figure out who it was.
I like it.
It's good. It's not predictable.
Speculation and all that. I think is good. Fans, it gives the fans more to kind of bite on as far as what's going to happen and just keep on the edge of your seat. I love it.
Yeah, because having Damage Control win last night would have been a mistake.
What?
Agreed.
Yeah, I think it would have been a mistake, especially if they build them to what she was saying. If they build them what she was saying, having them win, I don't think that would have been a good idea.
Something's gonna have to happen with Bailey.
Right. Exactly.
I think it's gonna happen this Friday, or they gonna slow burn it.
Or it could have happened Friday, like you said, and she be gone for a minute.
Yeah, that's what I said. They gonna beat her down. And she gonna disappear.
Come back at the Royal Rumble.
Yeah,
I'm gonna be disappointed not to see Bailey every Friday.
and then I
know.
and then I was telling y'all
Ham
before,
with yams.
she was like, when they asked Sasha Banks about being the one to sign to AEW, she's like, no. She was like, when you see me again, you're gonna see me somewhere that's like home for me. And then the dude Gato or whatever, he said he hasn't talked to her about. He said I haven't talked to her in a long time about a contract. He said I don't know where she at.
I heard she is doing a Japan fight.
Yeah, she's fighting.
She's
the
fighting
one girl.
What's her name? Julie.
Yeah, that's the last fight she got on that deal.
Yeah,
She must have been really injured because she ain't even wrestled much since the
she
summer.
broke her heel.
Since she lost to Willow.
Yeah.
That was back in the summertime.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
She had a bad break in her heel or her foot or something like that.
That sounds painful.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Let's go in depth just a little bit. Some notable surprises. One of the biggest returns, in my opinion, R-Truth.
Yeah, I knew you was gonna say that.
He said I've been here all the time.
Shout out to R-Truth.
I'm not gonna lie. You know what? Though? I'm not gonna lie. I actually
love Truth.
I popped for that one, man. I was like, oh shit, R-Truth is back.
Too. I like Truth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And shout out to Tozawa right now. Tozawa is entertaining shit.
What's the name of his
He is
dance?
entertaining right now.
I don't know if
Ruffle
he got a
Shuffle?
name.
What is it
but that's
called?
what they called it the Ruffle Shuffle.
The Ruffle
But
Shuffle.
he did a little differently last night, but that normal one he do with the little
Yeah.
it's like a little fake gritty. He be killing it.
Gritty.
That is, you know what though? That is an entertaining faction with Otis, Chad Gable,
Maxine.
Max. Yeah.
Seemed like he's letting them be themselves to a degree. So
Well, there would Otis and Chad Gable, like they're best friends in real life.
Yeah.
I had an opportunity, and I didn't want to
No, go
hijack
ahead.
the segment. I had an opportunity to interview them when I was at WrestleMania in Los Angeles, and I had asked them. I said, you guys fit very, very well, considering you guys came from two different tag teams, you know, Heavy Machinery and American Alpha. And then Chad Gable went into detail. He said, well, before WWE, we were best friends. They actually trained at the Olympic Training Center in 2007.
Okay.
That's where they met. So that's why it seems very natural that the camaraderie is there. You know what I mean? That it just fits really, really well. So that's why it's working. And of course, you give Tozawa anything and he'll make it work.
Yeah.
I like the American Alpha
entertaining.
too.
Yeah.
I still got my American Alpha T-shirt.
I just want to say,
Shout out to Jason Jordan.
Yes, sir.
I just want to say, either this light is blinding me or I'm drunk as shit. I can't really. I think it's that mix because of Brian, man. Everything look blurry over here.
Guys,
Give him some water. Give him
you got him.
I got water right here.
Oh, you got the water? All right.
man, he blamed me.
Because you told me to mix. Oh no, I got serious questions for y'all. Y'all all think
What's up?
who is the guy that dethroned Gunther?
Oh, damn.
Question.
Ooh,
I'm gonna tell y'all a rumor that they got.
I'm still saying Gable, but
They're saying it's supposed to be Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania.
Because he's never held that title.
Yep.
What
and
would he do
and
with
Brock Lesnar wants to work with him. And Hunter's letting Brock Lesnar do more dates than what Vince did. So, I mean, but if it's not him, who else would y'all pick?
I'm picking Gable.
Yeah, I want Gable too.
I say either Gable or Jey Uso. Let Jay run his little, but you know he fighting his brother at Mania, so.
Yeah, I think I'm on the Gable train right now. He put some good matches. I think 1v1 matches against Gunther, it's hard to say you get much better than what Chad Gable put up.
Yeah.
I would say an entertaining match for him to win the title could be a lumberjack match. Sprinkle a little old school in there.
Or either that or Elimination Chamber, but I don't think he'll be able to make that trip.
Oh yeah,
can't-
Gunther,
oh,
right? Yeah,
Gunther can't?
Gunther, yeah, because
Unless WWE gets special permission.
Now that you just brought up Brock Lesnar, if he doesn't fight Logan Paul on either one of them nights, I wouldn't mind seeing LA Knight fight Lesnar. Because to me, that's when you know that you are
When you get
you at that you're like that.
the next tier.
Yeah, you in that. Yeah,
Acknowledge
you at that level where they're gonna start putting you in those matches that you're gonna be closing out every other pay-per-view. I think that's the one.
Because LA Knight's been closing. Him and Solo were main eventing house shows around the loop for the last couple of weeks. So he's already been closing shows, and they're trusting him with that spot.
Oh wow.
And they'll probably close that when they come to Delaware next weekend.
Oh yeah, that's right. The WWE house
Holiday
show
tour.
Yeah, December 3rd at the Bob Carpenter Center. Go to Ticketmaster.com.
Yeah. Send us a little bit, some tickets for free. Since we just plugged y'all.
For free.
Right.
Free
Free
advertising.
plug.
I just like it though now because they don't rely on one person no more. Like Hunter
They don't have
has
to.
it like to where a room you can go stay at home, you can take a break. Boom. Orton took a whole year and some change. Like before, remember 10 years ago, 15 years ago, he needed what he needed. Back then, that was what? Cena, Batista, Orton. And Hunter sprinkled in the mix.
You can go further back than that. When it was just when Austin got hurt and they only had Undertaker, Triple H, and The Rock. Yeah.
But then Angle stepped up.
Yeah, Kurt
Yeah,
Angle
Angle,
stepped up, definitely. Yeah.
Pert Angle.
They had the Radicals, in some form or fashion.
Yeah, because don't forget,
Jericho.
Rock and Benoit main evented a couple pay-per-views too.
Was that Fully Loaded?
Fully Loaded
One of my favorite matches.
and Unforgiven.
Yeah, Fully Loaded is one of my favorite matches.
Yeah, man.
Between Benoit and The Rock.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that guy.
That
yeah.
guy. Who? That guy fought.
He who shall not he who will not remain. You say Benoit name
I
3
seen
times.
some memes, man, and they said the only thing that can save AEW
Was that?
Bye.
I saw that too.
Turn my
I saw that too.
Y'all
I
petty.
did not have the heart to save that picture.
Y'all petty.
Yeah, it's just certain lines I will never ever cross, and that's definitely one of them.
But you know what though? That's a DVD I never get rid of.
Oh, same here.
I would never get rid of that.
Unless if someone was to give me maybe I don't know $500,000, I might consider it.
Yeah. Okay.
But I would have to dub it. I would have to dub it first.
I'm not even gonna dub it. I let them have it. It'll be a distant memory.
So guys, if anybody out there that wants to buy my Chris Benoit,
Two are available.
two are available. I believe it's 2 discs. You can hit me up, inbox me at the real DT Lou on all social media. My asking price is starting at $500,000. If you want $1 under.
$750 for both of them.
Please don't flag this.
It doesn't
video.
have scratches or blemishes.
Don't flag this video,
Yeah,
please.
Oh no,
We're not promoting that at all.
we're not promoting it. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Hey, if somebody once said everybody's got a price, and I do. So
It is 500,000. I wonder now. Never mind. We'll talk about that off.
yeah, we'll do that. Yeah.
So yeah,
know
our
they
truth. Sorry, I went off topic.
Yeah. Truth.
Is he? What do you think? He's just gonna be popping up in the background. We gonna see him in the ring action?
I think he's there, to do a lot of the comic relief stuff. Now, me personally, I wish he would have a solid run. I mean, this guy is a former NWA. He was the first African American NWA World Heavyweight Champion. You know what I mean? And a lot of modern fans never saw his work when he was in TNA.
Yeah, he was really good over
He was
there.
really, really good. And I just think that they see him as the comic relief and stuff, which he's really good at. And a lot of times you can find your niche in a company and you can find your longevity there. But I think, he's still in great shape. He's 51 years old.
Ooh, I didn't even think he was that.
Yeah, he's 51 years old and is crazy talented in so many different parts of entertainment. So I just think utilize that. And I think he's due for a good, solid run. But we'll see what happens. We'll definitely see what happens.
When he was a 24/7 champion, that was some.
That was the funny.
I mean, that was it was hard to watch Raw around that time, but when he was out there, it was entertaining.
It was.
The 24/7, 7-Eleven, I-95 style European TV championship.
And
man.
that one promo, I think it was on Miz TV or something. He came out and said that he was going to win the match, and he was like, "You're not even in the match." He said, "I'm not." Oh, my bad.
No,
when he brought the ladder.
No, when he was going to declare for the Royal Rumble, and he thought that Paul Heyman was in it, and then when he said no, Brock Lesnar's in it, he was like, wait, for the first time in history, I'm undeclaring for the Royal Rumble, and that was the time that Paul Heyman distinctly told him to try to pop Brock, and he got him.
Yeah, that was around the time when it was Beatbox Brock when he had the Money in the Bank.
Yeah, that was after that. Yeah,
he had the little hoodie up.
Yeah.
I said somebody told Brock to go out here and have some fun. What is this?
Hey, act like you were in college, man.
Sorry, man.
Right. And he fought Seth Rollins that year for Mania, right?
That was 2019. Yeah.
Okay.
When he
That's
pulled
right before the world shut down.
When he pulled that fucking ladder out, man.
Yeah, that was one of the funniest moments I can remember.
That's what I'm saying. It's like,
He said, "Where's the briefcase?" And I mean, you could tell it looked like it was like them guys in the town had no clue what he was doing. They just running with it. Man.
I said the truth.
but you know what though? He's like everyone. That he's one of the guys that everybody genuinely likes. He's so likable in the back, very, very giving. He's a really, really solid dude.
You know who's like the version of him, like wrestling wise, but not like the comedic part is Wesley.
Yeah.
Like Wesley can go out there and do some of the things that he was doing back when
Right.
he was, wrestling. His younger age, I guess, for lack of better words. But yeah, I think that's like the new version of him. If he learns how to tap into that funny stuff, then yeah, he definitely won't be him.
Right.
He gonna be him.
So let's go on. Another big surprise return. Well, not surprise. They've been talking about it once they announced the fifth member of the. I keep forgetting the name of the match.
War Games.
War Games.
War
match.
Games. Yeah.
Randy Orton. What is that? A year?
Give him
Year and a
round-
half, man.
Give him a round of applause, man.
Yeah.
That's a legend killer, baby. The Viper.
I'm scared to be a fan of his.
Why so?
Don't buy no shirt.
Every time
Next time you
Brian
buy a
starts
shirt,
liking
you
him,
get hurt.
Yup.
happens to him.
It's been like clockwork, man. It's been
don't buy a
like
shirt.
clockwork.
Don't buy a shirt. That's
When him and Riddle was together, I was like, let me go in here. And they say, Randy, you weren't going out for a year. I said, oh no. I said, I'm not doing this ever again. So now you're gonna
They
be on
saw
my
Brian's
TV.
cart. They was like, yeah, go ahead.
Yep, that's what happened.
No, but
man.
he looked in incredible shape.
Yeah.
And that's what I was gonna bring up.
Yeah.
That dude came back looking like an absolute unit.
Hulk.
I don't know if he on anything, but my boy is looking good. How old is he? He got to be
43.
okay. I was gonna go a little bit older, but either
Yeah.
way,
Said he got 10 years too.
He looked
I
good.
did see something like that. Where
He said he's going to do 10 more years?
He said he got
said
10
more
years in him.
That's it.
Okay.
I mean, there's guys doing it a lot. How long? Sting been do?
It'll stop.
63 years old?
Yeah.
Yeah, 63 I think Sting is.
What was
and
Ric
just
Flair-
hit
Ric Flair's
his
last match?
hardcore era.
Flair's last match was last summer.
And that was at
He
like,
trying to have another one.
That was in
70?
74.
well, how old is he?
We're like 74.
He don't need to do it no more.
Ooh.
He don't
trying
need to
to.
do it no more.
No.
Wee.
If they
Mouth.
ever,
I don't even want him talking because I want him raising his voice too much.
I got a job for him.
What's up?
If they ever remake Tales from the Crypt, they can have him. He can pop up, do the laugh and everything, man. Because he getting old there, buddy. Oh yeah. Like Charlotte, he had some grandkids and let him stay home.
I did see on what was it Collision last night. They promoting some Woo energy drink. He got an energy drink now.
Yeah.
Oh man,
That's why really reason why he got signed. He's paying himself.
I don't even like energy drinks, but I want to try it just because it's Ric Flair's.
So you trying to take
But
somebody's
did
Space
you
Mountain?
try? Wait. Did you try Dwayne's the Zoa? Did you try that yet?
I did. I did not like
I didn't
it.
care for it either.
Really?
I
Nope.
didn't care for it either.
Matter-
I haven't. I don't do energy drinks, but like I want people that
try.
tried it. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't like energy drinks. So.
Yeah,
I don't
wasn't
like.
a fan of
Look, and make it bad. Is the only reason why I tried it is because they was giving it away for free in GNC.
Oh, well, that makes sense.
That makes more sense.
The lady, she gave me a blueberry, a lemon, and I think it was like a watermelon kind. I was like, they free? And she was like, oh, take as much as you want. I was
Yeah,
like,
she was trying to get rid of that.
I said, and they were cold too. So I said, let me try one of these things. All three of them, I spit them out and poured them out.
Or she was trying to get fired. And I don't want to segue too early, but
Shout
let's
out Don
remember that.
Andrade.
Yes, let's remember that segue for later on.
Oh no!
But yeah, I don't want to take away from Randy Orton. So
He looked good though.
yeah. He didn't take any bumps, right?
No,
I mean, he did the DDT deal. He did that.
He didn't get beat on.
Yeah, he didn't.
No.
Hey, who
ran up on
who hit him when he first got?
He got hit.
He didn't really get beat down.
I felt like he came in.
This nigga just hit him in the back of his head a couple times.
I thought he just cleared house.
Was it
Yeah.
Dominic?
He came in like the
Probably was
equalizer.
Dominic. Yeah.
equalized.
He was on his Brock Lesnar.
Denzel Washington in the equalizer probably got touched 3 times out of all 3 movies.
You know, I've never seen none of those movies.
O'Brien.
When
I'm
you
sorry.
watch them,
I don't mean to tangent. Yeah, none of them. What is that?
I don't know. I'm trying to hear, but if you ever do watch them, just count the many times. Count on one hand how many times.
Is it old school Steven Seagal
Yup.
level of not getting touched?
Yup.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
How about that?
Oh my goodness.
No, y'all, come on, ain't nothing worth.
Steven Seagal went like 10 years without getting punched.
Punch and running.
He didn't get punched until like Under Siege, I think. I think he got cut over the eye with a knife.
Well, I don't know if it was that bad. He got touched in the. He got touched in the first.
He got beat up in what's that one?
Hard
where
to
he-
kill?
Yeah,
He got shot.
it don't matter. He got touched.
He didn't get punched on.
He got touched, but then he got shot with a shotgun. Still got up.
Above the law, he didn't get beat up. Out for Justice, he didn't get beat up. Mark for Death, he took maybe 1 or 2 punches, but that was after Under
man,
Siege.
It just seemed like all
Mark
those
for Death.
movies were the same movie.
Yeah.
It really
But they
was.
classics though, man.
late
They are.
80s, early 90s, all those movies
Don't
were the
disrespect-
same.
Yeah, pretty much.
Don't disrespect the keto guy, man.
Oh my god! I took a keto for 4 years, and out of 4 years, what made me realize that Steven Seagal wasn't really what he was supposed to have been, and I know that from experience firsthand. What he was doing that ain't really keto.
Yeah.
He was doing that for film.
That was good camera work.
I'm sorry. I don't want to cut it off, but I'm hearing
Tangent
something
again.
knocking.
Yes, I'm knocking.
Is it one of the bottles hitting somebody? Thing? You hear it?
Table.
That's the table.
Is it? Oh,
Yeah,
it's
one's a
that.
move.
It's that right there.
It's this.
Oh, okay.
Oh.
Damn, I knew it. See,
I thought when the way how you was doing, I'm like, somebody knocking on the door.
Yeah,
Like,
that's what
I
I
just
sound
kept
like.
hearing the.
We gotta take
in the back.
an impromptu just roll one of Derrick's videos. Like, check
Speaking of,
the door.
What's that clear one?
Huh?
what happened?
What was in that bottle?
Nah, that's just it's peach. Peach.
We can't say the name because we don't get a flag.
No, it's not even a big. It's some generic shit that I got from the grocery store.
What's it,
It's a peach cider beverage, so it makes a good mixer.
Okay.
Tavon has the Chardonnay.
Nah, I got my thing clear, baby. Look at this.
He's sophisticated. Pull the pinky finger.
You ain't supposed to wake up and remember what happened the night before.
Okay, Diddy.
Anyway,
So what happened after Randy Orton?
Yeah.
Randy Orton.
Randall Keith Orton.
Yes.
Where did they go with him with it?
All right, real quick though.
Where are they going to go with? Where's
Honestly,
he's
I
gonna
don't
turn
think
on Cody.
I don't think we need in a rush to have his storyline. Like he just got back. I think people are accepting enough. Like, hey, he's not, prime. He's not prime Randy Orton anymore, and let him ease back into shape. Let him ease back into the ring. Let him get some, pops here and there, and then I say you kind of want to do something before WrestleMania, right?
Is it his fight now against not Bloodline, the
don't-
Judgment Day?
I think, honestly, I would keep his character a little bit fun. Let him just, I don't want to say stone coldish, where
What?
he can kind of just jump in and out,
Anywhere.
in and out.
Kind of a tweener. You mean as far as like a tweener is concerned, or
Like he can help bring up some of the youngers, but he can also really sway a side in whatever feud as well. I'm a Randy Orton fan, and part of me wants him to have a great push before it's all said and done. I don't know what that looks like at this point in time. I don't know if it necessarily means a championship, but I'm also thinking about a feud that will go down that will also help propel
The next man.
his career, but also somebody else. It's something about
I feel
a matchup
that
for him.
the
It has to
ma-
be specific for me.
to be honest with you, I thought the one that's gonna propel the next person is gonna be a feud with Cody, and I'll tell you why. I don't know if I've explained this logic to any of you, but obviously they were in Legacy together, and I think the perfect story could be Randy, obviously doing a beatdown on him, and then the following week he comes out and he talks about, I'm ashamed of you. You were in Legacy, and I was grooming you to be the next great WWE superstar. And what did you do? You quit and started, and they can go that route. You quit.
Orton can get personal.
Absolutely. And go there. You know what I mean? And maybe the blow off can be at Elimination Chamber when they can have that match.
They mess around and book that for night one at WrestleMania, so he ain't gonna never get to finish his story. Yeah, I like Orton and Cody Rhodes right now. I like that one.
Okay. I wouldn't say no to that. I would definitely be on board for that, for sure.
Or even Orton and CM Punk.
Hell, you can have Orton and
I feel
Jey
like-
Uso. Really,
We'll get to CM Punk's discussion in a little bit. It's something that definitely can happen. I think something right now is just boiling that, people want. We got to get stuff done before WrestleMania.
Yeah.
So
And what month is we in? November.
About
They
to
got a
be
long.
they got a
December.
long
They got
stretch.
a long time. Well, not in their way of working is not a long period of time, but for us as people watching on the outside, it's a long time.
But I mean, you figure the day after Mania, they're already planning for the next WrestleMania. You know what I mean? So
okay. Any last thoughts on Randy Orton? I didn't really go
that
person by
RKO from hell, gee whiz, man.
I just wish he got a little bit more air on it, like
Top-
before. Came down fast, so I know gravity's not your
Yeah,
friend.
yeah.
And it came down fast because I said my man was almost
It
on
was
way.
it was a dive. You can't like slow down once you already got that momentum and speed.
Yeah. But yeah, it's amazing to have to time that
I
out.
was not about to say that was the top RKO.
No. I was
Oh,
saying
woo.
I was asking
Oh no.
top RKO.
Oh, that's always gonna be Evan Bourne.
Evan Bourne,
Evan
right?
Bourne,
Always
hands
gonna be
down.
Evan Bourne.
It was his reaction.
It was.
afterwards
I
that
would
made it
say
the best.
hierarchy is probably Evan Bourne and Seth Rollins
Yeah.
from WrestleMania 31.
off the stomp.
The stomp.
Off the stomp,
My
yeah.
third is Stacy Keibler.
Nah, the third is not Jack. Man.
good.
But he did get
Nia
Nia
Jax.
Jax. He did get her.
He got to get Rhea next.
Ooh.
Make it a trifecta.
Orton got everybody that caught me.
we got to put this one in top 5 just off of
Yeah.
difficulty, right?
Yeah, I say so.
And just imagine how McDonough felt. Like he probably like high off adrenaline. Like I'm about to do this.
If you
spot.
just watch him and don't look at Randy Orton and just look at him and what he's doing, he literally just said, "Fuck it, I'm gonna leap into the mat," and he just went like this and said, "Whatever happened," but he didn't brace himself or nothing. He just went straight down off that top of the
he
cage
just-
into the mat.
he's-
And I'm sure they worked it, and they probably worked it out earlier
Mm-hmm.
in the day
Yeah.
with the crash pad and everything. So
don't hold your breath.
Yeah, he felt it though. He felt it.
You
Still
gotta
feeling
exhale. You gotta exhale on the impact.
it. Breathe.
Because you don't want to hold your breath.
Yeah.
Trying to take a break fall. It ain't fun.
All right, let's move on. Who we got next? I want to see. All right, let's just go. Since we were talking about the show as a whole, let's talk about Triple H's booking. Okay. Since he has taken over, which I don't know when you want to consider that. Do we want to
July
consider
27th.
July 27, 2022.
2022, right? Okay. We don't want to say after the whole because are we in the tell me what your thoughts are as far as Vince's influence prior to the TKO deal and all that in Triple H's decision making.
Well, you figure most of Vince's stories were up till SummerSlam of 2022, I do believe. And they were trying to get things started around that time. But don't forget, the night after this past Mania, thank God I flew home that day, was probably one of the worst Raws ever because Vince basically rewrote everything. And it was trash. It was not good.
Yeah, it was definitely one of the
It was a clear indication of the mentality of where we were headed and where Vince wanted the. Here's the thing, and everyone said it that's worked there. When it comes to Vince, it's all about it's an audience of one that you have to perform for, and that's him. He doesn't give a damn how over you are with the crowd or whatever the case may be. It's about his spin. It has to be his spin on it that he feels is going to get over. You know what I mean? Because if you get over on your own, in his eye, he'll resent you for that. Ask Matt Cardona. You know what I mean?
Cesaro.
So, oh God, let's not even talk about that one. But
You can go further than that.
yeah, so it's like, I just think that old mentality of like, with the machines are going to have to get you over instead of the talent working hard to get themselves over. I think that those days are over. I think the way Hunter is working, at the end of the day, Hunter's still a wrestler. He's a wrestler. He's looking at it through the wrestler's eyes and not so much. Granted, he has to look at it from the business side too, because especially, with the content, making sure that, you're not crossing the line too much because you do have sponsors, you do have all these, other things, other elements that's happening. But in my opinion, I just think that Hunter's going in the right direction and he's really trying to get the key pieces in there that everybody can get over. Think about this for a second. In the beloved Attitude Era, any one of those wrestlers could have been in the main event. We're talking about mid-card guys like Benoit, Jericho, those guys, Kurt Angle, which Kurt Angle was in the main event, but then you had the tag teams that could have been in the main event.
Yeah.
Like if there was no, for example, if there was no Austin Rock 2 at WrestleMania 17, the TLC 2 could have closed the show.
Oh my God, yeah.
You know what I mean? So
That was violence.
that was right. That match that pay-per-view could have ended right there. So I think Triple H is trying to get to a point where everybody is super important on the card, and everyone's going to be seen. Not so much as you're going to know you're going to have your A guys, your Romans, and all that, Cody, Randy Orton, all that. But I just think that everybody's going to have a place on the show in the company, and that's where I think they're trying to get back to that place again.
Cool.
I agree.
Yeah.
Anything else? No. Jason?
I think
I disagree.
Triple H is booking.
I think he put it. I think he just articulated that.
He
as
broke it
best
down.
as He could be articulated.
Ethered it.
Yeah, either did.
articulate AR such and such. But
it mostly is the guys that he had down at NXT that came up. And then there's some guys that were indie darlings that he probably a long time ago probably would have been like, oh, I'm not losing to this guy, but now he's looking at it like, okay, well, I have to be able to put these guys front and center. Like the people love them, they want to see them, so I'm going to give them as much of them as they want. So I think that's a lot what's going on now, and I think that comes from almost 10 years ago, from when they had that meeting between Vince, CM Punk, and him, and they let him go that day. I think that's the day it turned in him and in his mind. I think that's the day it all turned.
Okay. Yeah, because I just think that a lot of things that were wrong, Punk brought up that day because he drove to Cleveland with the intent not to wrestle at all. You know what I mean? He had no intentions of getting in the ring. He was already concussed and all that, and he just aired his grievances. And I think. And then Vince has said something about, oh, that's the concussion talking or whatever. Instead of Vince was being very delusional and not understanding you are a major part of the problem, where the majority of this locker room is walking on eggshells because it's a very toxic environment.
Yep.
Very.
And it seems like it's like Hunter's booking is translating with them wrestlers, because you can tell, look like you can just see it's a different feel with this company now, post Vince. And now it seemed like a lot of these guys and gals on there are taking chances with their characters now, a lot more so than what Vince would allow them to do. You can tell that they're getting a little bit of freedom and some leeway on their characters. And he's pushing a lot of people who you wouldn't really see on a Vince McMahon era. I mean, you got Shotzi on there. I mean, that's not an ideal Vince look.
Right.
But Hunter put her in a first bout in the War Games match.
Right.
So you got to take that in consideration. I mean, Rhea Ripley, I mean, that girl's a phenom right now, but you wouldn't really consider her like a Vince blonde bombshell in there. And
See, I could have seen Rhea as a Vince product though, because she's big and she's strong. I remember him just not wanting her to get all those tattoos. Remember at first, he didn't want her to get all those tattoos, and he wanted to keep her kind of clean slate. But she kind of hits me as a Vince type. At that time, you know,
we know
less what she is now.
But I think also too, then we've all seen it where there was a clear indication that there were two separate masters when you were going from NXT to the main roster.
Oh yeah,
how Hunter basically the system that exists today on the main roster was basically NXT. And then, of course, when you got to main most of the time on the main roster, it just wasn't working. I mean, look at the guys. I mean, they did a huge disservice to Keith Lee, in my opinion.
Oh God,
Keith Lee was over like a mother down. You know what I mean?
I was gonna say, we cuss on here.
He was
You guys do curse.
he was a two-time.
Oh yeah.
Oh, okay. I didn't was trying to be disrespectful. No, I'm just saying.
Oh, we do cuss.
Like Keith, think about it. Keith Lee was over. You know, all like on the Undisputed Era guys, they were over. You know, there was so many guys that were really resonating with the fans and online or whatever. And it's like it just wasn't clicking. I mean, look what they did to Karrion Kross, and to me, I don't think he ever got over that because I think they did a huge disservice to him. That presentation was money. That to me, and correct me if I'm wrong, guys, but that presentation that he had in NXT when he got there, I thought was tailor made for the main roster.
Yup.
Everything, the music, the smoke, and the girl, and all that, and then
They put a mask.
you
on.
strip him away. First of
What
all,
got him over?
Demolition.
but no, here's the thing. They put him in a match with Jeff Hardy and he jobs him in 1:30. Now, at me being a professional, I'm thinking, okay, they're trying to test his attitude.
Yeah,
Because I remember a story, and I hope I'm not going off the rails, but I remember a story Warrior was telling about the Brooklyn Brawler, how they were doing a TV taping, and Brawler went up to him. He said, "Hey, just want to let you know." He's like, "I wasn't supposed to say anything. They were gonna have you do the job." He said, "Don't sell it. Don't sell it. Just go with it. They're trying to test your attitude." And a lot of times, and if you think about, you know, how they were doing business, I'm thinking, okay, they're trying to test Karrion Kross's attitude to see if he's willing to acquiesce and to get into the whole, okay, team player type thing. But that was a huge mistake.
That was some bullshit.
He was the NXT champion at the time, which made it even worse. I'm just like, okay, so you're going to shit on your third brand's champion by having him do a job in 1:30. I'm just like, with no build up, nothing. And because he wasn't resonating, because it didn't work. And
you took his manager from him.
You took the presentation you took from the guy.
And then you put him in some S&M.
I'm just like, what? Like, it's crazy, man. It's like,
Demolition.
It looked like one of them characters from Mad Max, man.
whatever. Like I said, I would never ever discount Vince McMahon's contribution to the wrestling business, the longevity that he got into that wrestling has now because of his vision and his impact in pop culture. But there is a time where it's like, you know what, you have to just go to the side. You know what I mean? And let new blood come in there, especially a wrestler that has been there and done it successfully and has been a top guy and knows how to get over and knows how to motivate, you know, the people that's under him to get over.
Yep.
So Vince McMahon is the Bill Belichick of wrestling, pretty much.
He overstayed as well.
It's like you've not even as a stab, but
Wait. My name is Derrick T. Lewis, and I hate football.
It's like the same thing. Somebody that's been so successful at one time, everything you touched was gold, and now it's that time where it's coming to
Starting
be
to
is
sour.
the transition.
It's like a modern day
Good things
King
are
Lear.
different now.
Yeah, it's like eventually you have to, the new blood has to come in there and make the product better. And like I said, this is no ill will on Vince. And like I said, if he's on the board of directors and all that, stay on the business side, dude. Stay on the business side. You're very savvy in that. Let the wrestling part do the wrestling part, and you just stay on the business side. And I think we'll get better coverage that way.
Like I said, I'm a fan of his booking. I mean, some things are questionable. I mean, credit, it looked like he's trying to weave everybody and get everybody involved. But, I mean, you're going to have some, like, good and bad.
Can't make everybody happy, though.
Yeah. But overall, you can tell it's a big difference just with him booking now and then what Vince is doing. It looked like they're taking chances. They're actually having long-term story things. And the matches now on the pay-per-view aren't just like another TV show. I mean, they are literally building up a fight for a good match to happen.
Right.
No,
And that's something that's been missing for a very long time.
Right.
And that's one thing I want to stop seeing. I feel like it was for a considerable amount of time that we were seeing on pay-per-view the same exact matches that we saw the last 2-3 Raws or the last 2-3 SmackDowns, and then you're watching it again on pay-per-view, and it kind of lost.
That was SummerSlam this past year. I felt like that was SummerSlam.
Like, I'm all right with, we had a match a couple months ago, now we're feuding.
Yeah.
Well, then we don't touch again until we have the pay-per-view. It started feeling like you had that match for 3 straight weeks in different variations. Maybe you were in a tag match this week. The week before that, it was a triple threat, but the same combatants were in that match.
Right,
and it's like you got the same people wrestling each other, and then it's on the pay-per-view. It's like, I done seen this match for like the last month, 4 different times, 4 different ways rehashed. I'm like, by the time it gets to the pay-per-view, I'm over it. I'm like, I don't even care. I just want you guys to end this feud. Like, the only thing I'd be looking forward to the pay-per-view, just so I hope I don't have to see you two wrestle each other.
It's like almost overkill.
I think a classic case of this was Dom and his dad fighting this year. Oh, they beat. I mean, they was German into German. Then when Ray finally hit him, it meant something.
Absolutely.
Then when the match actually happened, he was like, okay, now as a viewer, I'm invested in it because they didn't really have a tag match here or there where they was fighting. The fight actually happened, and as soon as the bell rung, I was like, okay.
Even the nice touch at the Hall of Fame where Dom and Rhea walked out.
That
we
was
were
gold.
in the arena. I was like, wait a minute. I said, we could see. Cause I was on a diagonal, and I was just like, oh shit, he's really walking out. And I said, because at first I thought he was going to attack him at the Hall of Fame.
Oh, that would have been cold-blooded.
I said, now you want to talk about heat?
That should have did it, man.
Dirty Dom would have got locked up for real.
Shout out to Dirty Dom.
Christmas was great. like the Christmas. Like them Christmas. Dom probably has my favorite next to like maybe 2 other entrances. But Dom's the firm at least 3rd in all-time favorite WrestleMania entrances.
Yeah, that
That thing was
funny.
so. And the sad part, we can't see it anymore because they cut the one part out.
Yeah, because of
The prison that they used in the scene.
Yeah.
But like that shit hard. That shit hard. That's one of my favorites.
Okay.
I like Dom. That's my guy.
Go ahead, Corey.
What the fuck was I about to tell you? Oh nah. So wait a minute. Y'all giving Punk the props for him changing how he is? Like booking wise, like to me, I feel like y'all all forgot who was down there molding him when he was in FCW before he started his NXT. Dusty Rhodes changed his mind, I believe, to the indie talent. And then you watch how he's booking. That's Dusty Rhodes' long-term storytelling booking.
We had to learn from somebody.
Yeah.
Like I believe he changed his mindset way before that Punk incident. It was Dusty having him down there showing because that's when he already had Ambrose, he had Roman down there, he had all them indie darlings down there.
He had the heavy hitters.
Well,
Big E, all them.
He basically groomed him for the position.
and he basically let his knowledge off to him.
But the NXT rebranding was all Triple H though. Like that was him creating a performance center somewhere where they could have actual people training. That was all him.
Yeah, because
He brought that up.
Yeah, because they were having I think Vince brought him to an investor meeting.
Yeah.
And he wanted him to be there, and and they asked, hey, do you Hunter, do you have any questions? And he was like, yeah. He's like, I heard a lot of numbers, but I didn't hear one thing about the wrestlers.
Mm-hmm.
And he had this plan of like, listen, we need to have a legit, if we're gonna be seen as a legitimate, athletic, whatever, we need these things in place. So he had to come up with an actual plan.
You sure about that?
Yeah.
Yeah, that actually happened.
Because I swear on that Cody documentary, Hunter came out of his own mouth and said, I wouldn't have NXT if it wasn't for Dusty Rhodes.
I mean, I'm pretty sure he had his hands in like helping them pick the talent and booking and all
but as
that.
far as the system itself,
He said it.
that was he had to
Yeah.
because remember they were FCW in Tampa, and then they had to buy that warehouse space in Orlando.
Yeah.
So they had to move everything there. So in that way, they
that was,
They kind of was setting him up to
yeah,
fail.
that's typical Vince. Okay, I'm gonna give you this.
They were basically,
Watch you fail.
from what I heard, they said that they was trying to set him up to fail with that thing, and
Make him learn his way.
yeah, and it backfired on him, and he basically was like, okay, I had the best show since the main roster, and now it looks like Hunter is booking the main roster how he was booking NXT now. So he's
just think if there was no performance center, I don't think WrestleMania 36 would have happened because they had to use the performance center to film it.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, because that was when we were all out in the dark.
in the house.
And then even going back to, and I think the tremors that was happening before even that conversation with Punk. Because if you ever sit down and think about it, what indie darling wrestler broke all the way through before 2011? I can't name one.
Not
That
not
did
many.
what Punk. That
Brian
did what Punk
Danielson.
did,
Maybe him.
but not even. They weren't WWE wasn't using him like that though.
I mean, they were both being propelled like around the same time.
I mean, but I feel like in that time, in that phase of Summer Punk, like just 2011 is the year that I remember. That's when they started, and I even think after the fact, with the way Punk left, I think some guys even got propelled out of spite. Like, we're going to take this indie guy, and we're going to do what we want to do with him
to make you look
to spite
bad.
you. And you didn't. That's. I also think that's a big part of the Brock Lesnar Mania win over Undertaker was that next year. I feel like something, but like that 2010, 2011, I kind of feel like was the years where, all right, some of these indie guys can't be held back, and they're going to break through with or without your help, and the people are going to make noise with or without your help, without your marketing, whatever. They're going to bust through, and I feel like that time, yeah, even Punk and Daniel Bryan, but like who before them?
Right. I mean, the thing
They
is,
won
too,
there.
that was around the same time, too, that Zack Ryder took it upon himself to do that damn the YouTube show.
I'm trying to get over. I can't get over.
No. The funny one is when he had $1, he said, I can draw money. I can draw money.
My man had his own title.
Yeah, it's what I'm saying. He was, a lot of guys were trying to get over, man. And it's like,
I mean, they did their job, so.
right.
Just think about like now, he probably got a lot of, heat with it because of his attitude. But like if you introduce Low Key into their environment now, he'd probably be a different person.
I agree.
You know what I mean? You had him, that whole class, with the Styles, Bryan,
Amazing Red.
yeah, Austin Aries, all those guys that were, who was bringing honors, top guys at the time, Christopher Daniels, all those cats, they come there now, it's like, oh, they would roll the red carpet out for them. It'd probably be more of an event like than what they did for Jade. I think it would be a bigger deal than what they're doing for her.
And I like what Hunter's doing with her, though.
Which makes me think about like what else Ospreay could have gotten had he came there.
So we'll get some discussion about rosters and AEW in a little bit. Let's transition. Let's talk about what I would say the biggest moment of the night. Probably the biggest moment.
R-Truth, right?
Once we got R-Truth out the way.
Well, that's why I had to go with him first. CM Punk.
Give him a round of applause.
CM Punk returning after 9 years?
10.
10.
10 years?
10 years,
10
yeah.
years?
About
To the WWE, ladies and gentlemen. Been a long time coming. Never thought I don't want to say I never thought I'd see
Hell
the
froze over. We can say
but
it.
I definitely even prior to his AEW's return, wouldn't have speculated seeing WWE and Punk again. I was kind of, after, 7 years, 8 years, you kind of just be like,
No way in hell.
it's over. It ain't nothing
Not
happening,
gonna
right?
happen.
First of all, I was under the impression that when he did the Art of Wrestling podcast with Cabana, and it dropped on Thanksgiving morning in 2014, and I remember hitting up the fellas, and I said, "You guys aren't going to believe this," and I just sent you guys this because the link had broken on the actual podcast.
Yeah, it was.
So I think Cabana ended up putting it up on SoundCloud.
Almost 10 years.
Yeah, and
Almost.
yeah, and just the details of what happened.
Wow.
And how he did not quit. He actually got fired on his wedding day. Mm-hmm. And it was just stuff that you would have never thought you would hear
Right.
about. This is how they do business? I was like, wow. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I'm thinking there's no way he's going back there now.
And he did it twice.
Huh.
He had two of those interviews.
What you talking about?
Punk had 2 of those interviews.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
He had 2. He was on that Cabana's podcast twice.
Yeah, because he had to do a follow up in regards to, they said send your questions or whatever, and they wanted to go a little bit deeper, but and then of course Vince was on Austin's show on the network, and Austin brought it up,
And lawsuit
quickly.
happened.
yeah, and he basically and Vince said, well, people when they leave they're disgruntled or whatever, and he said, I'll apologize to him, if there was a big misunderstanding in regards to with corporate and this and that. I'm just like, well, I guess, but
Damage is done.
yeah, seriously, it's like,
He was like, I'm still going to fire him, but I just make sure it went on his wedding day.
right. So I mean, and again, it's like, I just think it was a different company. I think the phrase that Hunter said last night is that not only is the Punk's a different person, I'm a different person. He's like, but this is a different company, and I think that may have been the selling point in regards to, okay, here's the difference was when you left, and here's the differences now, where you're not going to encounter any of these type of problems ever again. The structure's still here. The machine is still here, and we're going to do whatever we can to make sure that we push you whatever direction you want to go. But at the end of the day, we're putting the talent first.
I think
That was something that I don't think was ever a thing, in my opinion.
I also would say, and hearing not just Triple H, but hearing Cody, that they're all saying the same thing. If it's going to help the business, we're all for it.
Yeah.
That's up to you to determine, how that plays out. I can't say how this all is going to play out going forward, but I think everybody is in concurrence, regardless of feelings or not. CM Punk back in the WWE is good for business.
Yes, sir.
If it's for
Damn
one
sure
night,
is.
if it's for a pay-per-view, or if it's just for whatever, it's going to be good for business. Now, where that, lays out and goes forward, that's up to CM Punk. That's up to Triple H. That's up to the talent that's working to make sure, that product is I think it's going to sell regardless. But to make sure what we saw happen in AEW, which we'll talk about in a little bit, does not roll over and rear its head.
I don't
in this
think it's
one.
going to happen.
Which I
don't
think
think so
is
either.
totally, because I think the structures behind it are two different structures. And I just wanted to just kind of put that out there, but I definitely don't think it's going to happen. But so CM Punk returns. Jason, I know that's your guy.
My all-time favorite wrestler.
Thoughts?
Number one.
He's
Thoughts?
wearing a wristband too.
Got the wristband. I was hyped because I figured he was coming, but then the end of the match came.
They got me, man.
the end
Ditto.
of
That little logo
the
came
end,
up.
the end of War Games came, and then the logo came up, and I'm like, oh damn, this might be it. And they were in the ring, but I knew once, because I was about to get in the shower just to come out. Once they panned all the way out of the whole stadium or the whole arena, that's when I was like, yo, Punk's get ready to come out. Because usually you just end the pay-per-view, everybody's in the ring, celebrating and whatever, doing this, that, and the third in the ring, and then you just kind of fade out. Well, this one, they were all doing their thing in the ring, but then you faded all, you panned all the way out to see, and I'm like, yo, Punk's coming. Because I was like, they had it was perfectly centered, and you got the the big old Titantron screen, whatever you call it, in the middle. And I was like, that's what they want. They want that shot. They want you to see the reaction as a whole through the whole. And that's exactly what, once that music, what was it? Cody's music was still playing. And then Cody's music's trailing off. And I was like, yo, that static's coming. And I could feel it. I said, yo, the static's coming. The static, that shh. And then that crowd.
Killed it.
Yeah.
And now I say.
And the match ended early.
Punk, for me, I feel like Punk has probably 3 of the biggest pops. However you have your top 5, top 10, Punk has 3 of the biggest pops all time in wrestling.
I think he's the last one too.
What do you mean?
I think that's the last big, like the biggest thing that can happen to WWE. I think that's the last. Him coming back.
Oh, okay. I think it would be the last of the biggest.
Yeah.
The closest pop recent memory to me is Bray Wyatt in Philly.
Oh my God! And I was there, bro.
I could have been there.
And they said
I
that you
wasn't.
couldn't even realize how loud it was on TV, but they said it was a big pop.
Yeah, my kid went. He said the same thing.
I could have been there for free.
I got tickets the last minute. I'm getting tickets. It's crazy.
Yeah, somebody offered me a ticket, and I had to work that night, and
I think
should just called out of work.
the only thing that would the only eruption that would be bigger than that, but it probably wouldn't be live, is if they announced that they purchased AEW.
That might be a lot of booze.
and then that night, either the beginning or the end of the night, Triple H is on their TV.
Yeah,
and the Elite is on Raw or SmackDown.
I would agree
That's
that
definitely
it is
I think that's the end of it right there.
hard to recreate that pop with. I'm thinking of just
And that was an
talent
organic.
that's out.
And that's an organic pop. That
I don't
wasn't
think you
like
can get-
manufactured.
Much better than that. I'm trying to think of who can return, who can whatever. I don't think you get much better than that. There is not another name that high.
And I don't think it can happen just because the pop was that because of what happened and who it was.
Did Rock get a good pop?
How much?
Yeah.
On SmackDown? When you come back
Yeah.
to SmackDown, yeah.
I mean, think about the Cody pop at WrestleMania last on 38.
That was a good one.
That was a good one. I would have to say the Hardy Boys at WrestleMania 33.
That
Oh,
was
yeah, I
a
remember that.
underrated
Oh,
pop.
yeah.
That was a real underrated pop.
I
yeah,
remember that. Mm-hmm.
Hunter coming back in the garden.
yeah, that was huge.
But yeah, like the 3, Money in the Bank, 2011.
Yep.
You talking about when he won the title?
Yeah,
That whole night was
that-
just crazy.
that pop, the pop that he got coming to AEW, and then this one in the top 10. However,
I was glad he didn't go try to jump in the crowd.
No, he knew
he was on.
He went over to.
Oh yeah, but he didn't go jump in
didn't.
the audience this
He
time.
got close enough.
I'm glad he didn't.
So
I was hyped. I was.
all right.
I love it.
I don't want to I don't want to say things are going downhill already, but not everybody seemed to be pleased with his return.
And you know what? And that
I have my personal thought about it, but I would like to hear you guys' first.
you know what? I'm not mad at them if they have some tension, because I mean he did say some things. I mean it was some words that's being thrown. And I'm not a proponent of. I'm a proponent of if somebody says something to me, I'm gonna say something back. But the tension, to me personally, it's going to lead to some good storytelling, and it's going to lead to some really good matches out of this. So if I'm some of the guys that are mad, I'm looking at the dollar and cents of this.
Good, be mad.
Because
And that's what I'm. What I
Be
said
mad
earlier
rich.
is. What I've heard from the WWE existing crew, I mean Cody and Triple H mainly, if it works for, and I will say even Seth Rollins said this.
Hell, Roman even said it.
If it's good for business, I'm willing to work with whatever.
Yeah.
Again, I'll say my comments for last, but go ahead.
To quote the late great Scott Hall, it ain't show friends, it's show business. As someone that's involved in pro wrestling, not everybody in every locker room gets along, right? And I've seen it where guys that really can't stand each other are actually working. And we've seen it through the years of people that despised each other, got in the ring and did business.
And they actually
Matt
had
Hardy
the
and
better,
Edge.
and they actually had the better matches though. The guys that really
Is that
don't like
underneath
each other.
is that underneath tension. So, and you're not, and again, you're not taking liberties with anybody. And here's the thing. Punk never said a bad thing about Seth Rollins.
Yeah, and that was the weird part.
But from what Seth is a worker,
Company
and
Exactly.
and I believe he was working, but
Either that or he's a friend of Cabana.
but here's the thing, individually, I don't think Punk didn't really go after anybody in that company. And the only person that called us stray in that Colt Cabana podcast was, and I don't think it was intentional, and I will go on record as saying that, was when he said the make Roman strong comment. And it wasn't so much about Roman Reigns. He made it very, very clear. He said it had nothing to do with Roman. It was the fact that you're booking me against 3 guys and you want me to win, but you're saying, hey, you got to make Roman look strong, and they're constantly coming at him saying the same thing. Hey man, don't forget, gotta make him look strong. And he was like, if you want me to make him look strong, why don't you have him beat me?
Yeah.
And I think that was the point he was trying to drive. I don't believe that he was trying. The only person that he really went after in that podcast was Ryback, which was well deserved.
Did he say something against the Miz, or was I looking at a burner account? Didn't he go hard at the Miz?
On Twitter he did, but they hashed that when because when Punk went, apparently when he went backstage,
That was one of the people he talked to.
that was one of the first people that he talked to, and they kind of
Yeah.
they hashed that.
So Seth early in the year,
That was during the Royal Rumble. If I'm not,
Logan Paul's podcast, right?
it was actually during it may have been SummerSlam.
When
Somebody
he was at the
podcast.
game, when he was
Multiple
when he was talking about the
times he's
game,
talked
the
about
game that was ready to drop.
Oh yeah,
I know what you're talking about.
Well, and somebody
He had like a cowboy hat on or something.
yeah.
And he's like, "You can come back to my company."
Well, but no. On a podcast earlier this year, he stated that CM Punk, I think, reached out to him and he apologized or something. I think Logan Paul brought that up to him in Logan Paul's podcast. I could be entirely wrong. He might have been talking about somebody different, but from what I vaguely remember, he was saying that, CM Punk reached out to him, apologized, and, in the future, if that ever does occur where CM Punk tries to come back, that if it's good for the business, type of mantra he was given. But he did not seem to be that enthused last night.
I think it's a work.
I
so, too.
almost
it's
feel
working.
the same, that it's a work.
Yeah, because Michael Cole was actually bumping to Cult of Personality. He was actually
Yeah, I saw that
But
video.
I just don't know. He said something that's caught on camera where he was saying, make sure he's not back there when I get back there, or something he said.
Yeah, they said another thing. They said
And I was
Triple
like,
H and Michael Cole had to walk him through. He was still wild when he got back.
Yeah,
I
it
think
was,
Seth
caught, it, was
Rollins
caught
was?
on, it was caught on somebody's cell phone. Him telling,
And I think they were banking on that. I think to a degree.
Because they also
But-
said they told them all before they went out there when the match is over.
and
Punk's
that's
coming
also the other thing too. It's like if he knew, then
Right, and also too, and I think they told him specifically before going out, because now you can't tell anybody because you're actually about to go out to the ring, so no one's
Can't
gonna know.
tweet right
You
there.
can't, you cannot, you can't stooge it off, and that's one thing. I have a lot of contemporaries that are in the wrestling journalism space. Shout out to Sean Ross Sapp, a guy that he's one of the most honest journalists because he doesn't consider himself to be a journalist, but he's really one of the most honest guys out there that reports the right stuff with the context that he does have. When people make up stuff, and I'm talking to you, DM, when you're constantly
With
making
the clue bomb.
but when you're constantly making up stuff to appease your subscribers or whatever, I just think it's trash. You know what I mean? So no one knew that CM Punk was actually going to be there except maybe 3 or 4 people, and then of course the 10 guys that were in the ring
right.
last night.
But I heard they were told right before.
They were told right before they were going out.
Yeah.
That's why Hunter cleared out Gorilla right then, so he was going to have that whole space to himself.
Having
So
all them guys
Guess
telling them
so.
what's going on. Yeah, to me that's perfect.
That's a smart thing. I mean, any guy doing that position could have just said, "Oh, just let him come out and hear him." He basically cleared the gorilla and he talked to them guys to themselves. He didn't have an intermediary guy saying it for them. He told him themselves. So he basically was like, no, I may get heat for this shit. Everything that the decision to bring him back on him back in that company is basically going to be on me.
Yeah.
And I'll take the heat for it or whatever it is. So,
I mean, he didn't even know heat. You the boss.
nah, but I'm just saying in general, he's going to have
some
people.
folks are, I'm gonna leave now.
I know, but who gonna bring the money? So who putting the asses in seats?
And I mean, and again, I'm not going to go into people tweeting at CM Punk about, if you think he's a problem, because I don't know the person, but I'm close to people that do know this person. I just didn't think that was right, because I mean, again, it's like, what the I mean, like there are people like you with Punk people, and this is what I mean. And then Ryback was saying that, if CM Punk comes back, I'm going to retire. And then, of course, he backtracks.
On that.
He was like, "Oh well, I only meant that if he went back to AEW."
I thought he was retired.
I was hoping.
And then he goes on talking about, then he starts to do like a Disney Pixar thing about Punk crying. I'm like, you know what? When you live rent free in people's heads, that knows you're doing something right.
And the fact that he ain't even hired by a second tier company shows you that people really
What
don't
is he? Is he wrestling at all?
He's unemployed and got time.
Well, he had a surgery. I think he's waiting on another surgery that he's having. So he said he's technically has never retired. He's just not been wrestling because of his surgery.
His asking price when he first got fired was ridiculous. Like, dude, no one's gonna pay. No promoter in their right mind is going to give you that type of payday without a return on investment. I don't think that anyone's going to go say, "Oh, I'm going to go see Ryback."
Unless he comes out and squashes MJF.
And I liked him when he first came out. I liked Ryback, and then it just.
Then you start hearing rumors.
Goldberg, Goldberg. That's all I remember. The crowd was yelling, Goldberg.
He got to come back and squash MJF to get any kind of relevancy.
No, that ain't happening.
He was like Goldberg wearing Rob Van Dam's gear.
Yeah, that's exactly what it was. That's exactly what
Rob Van Goldberg.
I mean, yeah, but I mean, I'm just saying. So it's like there's a lot of people. I say that to say that again. There's going to be a lot of people that you're not going to get along with in pro wrestling. I know a lot of people that don't like each other, but they have worked together before. And I just think in this particular instance, because the WWE and the infrastructure that is there, I'm confident that cooler heads are always going to prevail.
Yeah,
I think the schedule is far more humane than it's ever been.
Really?
Oh my God, yeah. I mean, think about it. I mean, some of the guys work 4 days, some work 3 days. Just really depends. You know what I mean? So
they're only doing what? Road?
They're only doing Saturday. They're not even, because remember they used to do before. Because remember when it was SmackDown, it was on Tuesdays. It would be you would work Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. You know what I mean? So you would still be working your 4 days. You still have to travel or whatever. But of course, you may have your, depending upon how who you are, you may have to do an appearance here or there. But still in all, you're well taken care of. You're traveling in the best, airplanes, staying in the best hotels. And
so they're basically wrestling.
I wonder what CM Punk's his outlook on the medical staff there is now.
Well, Dr. Amen, I think, is still there.
He gonna come in the back. They gonna have a segment for that, and then
but
I had to have a sit down.
But remember, Punk won that case. You know what I mean? So
something with some truth to that. Me personally, I think I got like a love-hate relationship with CM Punk right now, because it's like part of me thinks he's a sucker, and the other part of me is like, he's one of those guys that when he comes out there, his words is what really gets him over. His wrestling matches aren't that good, like not how they used to be. But I don't think anybody in that company that's like mad and goes out there and like does their best to try to like bury him and bury the decision to bring him back. They're the ones that are going to be on the outside looking in, thinking what could have been, by just working with him and then also manning up to him and saying, "Hey, can I talk to you over here? This is how I felt about XYZ." Like, I think that should be every situation. Anybody who has a problem with him being there, I think as a man or even as a woman, you need to pull him to the side and you let him know how you feel. And however way it go, it go. You know what I mean?
Well, that's what Punk did with The Rock.
Yeah.
When he had his issues with him, and when they finally had an opportunity to meet, they had to talk.
I'm pretty sure that this week
Became
he's
friends.
going to be doing a lot. It's going to be a lot of talking going on.
Yeah, but you know what? Somebody made a really good point on Twitter. Shout out to I forget who it was that said it, but I know of one of my Twitter friends, Lovely Luval, who's on Twitter. She agreed with it. If those wrestlers had to hear Hulk Hogan's bullshit apology about saying the N-word, you could sit down and speak with CM Punk.
True.
They had to
That's worse.
regurgitate that garbage.
That's worse.
That hot garbage.
Yeah.
That racist piece of shit had this. You know what I mean? They had to. And it did. He didn't. It was the excuses he was making of. Well, I didn't know I was being recorded.
Not bullshit.
Yeah, like
That's the worst one.
Like-
That's the top.
I mean, they literally had to sit there and listen to this when they first brought him back in 2018. He's back in the fold with the company, yada yada, whatever. Let bygones be bygones. Screw that, man. No.
Yeah. And I don't think
Yo,
we'll
he
see
knew
him
what he
back
was
no
saying.
time soon.
Huh?
So we won't see him back no time soon. Talking about Hulk Hogan.
Well, you know,
Who cares?
Never say never.
never say never.
No time soon. I'll put it like that. No
Yeah.
time soon.
Okay, so CM Punk's back. Feuds.
You know what? He's got a fresh roster of guys he can really do some stuff with now.
What do you think top feud is? WrestleMania is about to. Let's say we're a month out from WrestleMania now. What does that match look like?
Ooh, Punk. Oh God. Ooh, this would be a good one. I mean, just with me, if the honest match would have been him and Hunter. That
I think
would have
at some point
that would have
there
been
needs to be
a massive match.
I think they can capitalize on that.
But
I don't know how Hunter feels about getting back into
nah,
it,
he's not
Said
wrestling.
he
I'm
can't
just
wrestle.
saying
He's not
hypothetically.
but I can see war of words.
Oh yeah.
Again, back to this Steve Austin type-esque where, okay, you're the
Authority figure.
You're the authority figure, but I'm going to still do my thing. And people can be mad at me. And this can be all a gimmick.
But the thing was that
And there can be the company
people
people,
want to
you know
see
they're going
something physical
you know they're
come to
going to say, well, you decided to do, you did this, you did it. They're going to throw it in his face. You left, you did this while we did this. Right? They're going to throw it in his face. And then Hunter could be like, all right, I'm going to make your life a living hell. We got Bobby Lashley. All right, you beat Bobby Lashley. All right, we're gonna put you in Gunther. All right, well, see, it's hard. Gunther's got a title. But we're gonna give you all the hard dog matches. Brock Lesnar's. We're gonna put you through the ring.
I would like to see him fight a Kevin Owens.
but
That would be a really real good one.
for sure.
The Sammy or
To me, though,
Owens would be because he can talk.
Money
That
maker-
that would be a
Money
good
maker-
Mania match.
WrestleMania next year is Seth Rollins.
Yeah.
At 40 or 41.
This next one coming up, Philadelphia.
41, he gotta go take the belt off of Roman.
I don't think he's gonna get the belt. I think Cody's gonna get the belt before him,
Maybe he beats Cody then.
and then he beats Cody.
No, what
Battle
would be
AEW.
crazy? Can you imagine if CM Punk versus Cody Rhodes at SummerSlam for the title? Now that's finishing the story for real.
That would be that's
It
fantasy.
would be an interesting.
Hunter's got a lot of fantasy booking he can do with this guy right now.
But how do you feel about? Because I think that emotion was a bit that Seth gave off was gimmick, and how do we feel Seth Rollins, CM Punk, WrestleMania
I think if it'll do good business.
It'll close night. It should close night one out.
close night one? Okay.
I'm with that one.
So close night two, we're saying Roman
And
who?
Cody.
Cody. We completely writing the Rock out of the storyline.
The SAG strike is over, so we won't be seeing The Rock.
No, he going back.
He like,
I mean, no. Here's the thing: I'm a huge fan of Dwayne, but at this stage, he has nothing else to prove.
Okay.
He's just laying it down. For
I do
Roman
think
at
he
that
got
point.
one more in him. Yeah, he would lose. He would lose for sure.
I mean, I don't think it's not even imagine him doing the job or whatever. We
Rock
get that.
still got that dog in him.
I think he got one more in him.
Yeah,
I mean, of course they. I mean,
but it doesn't have to be for the title though.
Yeah.
And the only reason I would say is because it's Roman. I think there is a family feud storyline there that they were flirting with, and
Well, they were
it's
doing
there.
it,
and
but
they brought
now
it
you
up
gotta
before.
Go back, right?
Right.
So,
Yeah.
It was brought up before in conversation.
and he even said it on a Pat McAfee show that they had a plan in place. That
39.
Yeah, it was last year they
Right.
were ready to do it,
Right.
but it didn't come to fruition. But
Creative wasn't just what the creative wasn't right.
Vince was probably like, you can't. Or Vince was probably like, I want you to beat Roman. He probably like, well, if you let me beat Roman, then what do I do after that? You know what I mean? Like, who takes the title off me?
They should do that at SummerSlam.
What, Roman and him?
Yeah.
I don't think they should do it at all.
Or that.
Me personally, I don't want to see them two wrestle one on one.
No.
personally, I see, I
Roman
get
and
it.
The Rock.
I get it because I mean, just the marquee name alone,
Yeah,
is going to
it's the name.
a license to print money, but
It's people gonna watch.
I didn't
People
want to see Roman and Cena again.
No.
again, but
didn't
it's
wanna
just
see that again.
it's for the consumer. That was a selling point. At
Now,
their time.
I could totally see, but I could totally see at one of the Saudi Arabia shows, The Rock and Roman Reigns.
Can they get The Rock and Saudi?
That's a question.
He ain't never been there, right? So how did they get him over there? They just say, "Hey,
I hope-
we got a whole bunch of money. We're gonna pay you to come over here."
They're probably gonna pay, they're probably gonna cut a separate check.
Okay, I was gonna say how does that make him look in Hollywood? Because they was trying to get Cena not to go over there for a long period of time. He ended up going. I guess he's like y'all.
the money talk, man. What happened in golf? Remember, there was a whole uproar in golf until they said, "Okay, we'll get all of y'all."
Until they saw them check figures.
And now everybody over in golf, okay, it's cool.
If they don't get Punk and Seth, then Kevin Owens will be the logical choice. I mean, they will talk and
Jack
sell
Perry.
a fight. Hell, you can get Punk. You know, it's funny that you can put Punk and Logan Paul in one of them things. And
How do you feel?
that's definitely going to happen.
How do y'all feel? And I don't think it'll be a good match, but I think just in terms of momentum, LA Knight.
And CM Punk?
No,
Nah.
Not a man.
I just think that's
not a man. I'm not saying that Mania. I'm just talking about in general.
down the road.
down the road, maybe.
Probably.
Yeah.
That'd be a funny ass.
That's what I'm
Because
saying.
they got two guys that can actually go on a microphone and like destroy each other. So it'll be good. Like I said, he's coming back into a healthy situation where he's got some
It's choices to be
fresh
made.
feuds and
Correct.
some stuff where they can go. I think Punk would be a better heel though if he was to come out now.
Well, that's what he do best, anyways. Talk.
Yeah.
Talk
If he
crap to
comes
people.
back as the feel good moment is going to be here, but if he comes in as a heel now and he can just start really ripping that company and all that other stuff, that would be something cool to see too.
I don't think he's gonna do that.
I don't think he's going to do it.
I don't think he's gonna.
No.
He gonna talk about-
He might say one thing tomorrow. I think he's gonna say something
I
tomorrow.
think he's gonna talk about how good it is to be home.
Yeah.
Because that paycheck that he got probably was like, damn, this is so good.
I put it much like this. I have never really it's only very few Raws that I've looked forward to.
Yeah. I saw him leaving that G-Wagon last night. After the game, so
But that's a Tony Khan check.
That's
Or that could be more from Marvel.
And they were still paying him, and they still got to pay him some of that merchandise money.
He still has his pro wrestling tee store still up still.
That would
Probably
be weird to
shut it
cancel
down.
those for people that got them anyway.
No, they had to sell him out if they already paid for it.
Corey, any dream match, CM Punk?
Nah, y'all did a good job with it.
Okay.
Cool.
No?
Nah, I'm good.
No? Are you a fan of CM Punk?
Yeah.
Are as far as this return for you, is this something? Well, see, where were you at with watching Raw? Were you faithful? Well, I don't want to say Raw, but WWE in general. Were you faithful every week watching it?
Yeah, watch.
Okay, because I ain't gonna lie. I taper off based off of my interest in certain personalities, and so now I'm gonna be back. If he's on Raw, SmackDown, I'm gonna be faithfully
He's a
watching.
raw talent.
He's definitely a Raw talent, but I'm just saying just to be safe. But I'm definitely tuning into Raw weekly now.
Yeah.
I'm starting to think Cap might have been one of the bookers for last night.
Did he?
'Cause he
so
called-
I saw your messages.
It happened exactly. It happened.
What happened?
It happened exactly the way Cap told me. Cap said it before, and then we was talking about it the night before. He reiterated exactly what he thought how Punk should come back.
Which was about the right at the end.
Yeah, he was like,
And don't let him say nothing.
he said, don't have him say nothing, don't have him come out and do
Let me
nothing.
tell you, I told him like this week. I told Brian the week before. I just knew that's what they was gonna do.
That when to Jason's point though, because I had a Zoom party with some people that I from Wheel of Fortune that I was with a couple back in February, and we were watching it together, and we were like, all right guys, we're about to go, blah blah, and then I'm looking at the pan back like you were saying, I'm like, what the hell is this? And I completely lost my marbles when I heard the shh. I'm like, oh damn, he's back. You know what I mean? It was just surreal to see. I thought, again, something I never thought I would see again.
Look good. And I'm not really particular about this. Something when he was in AEW, I don't know if it was his haircut or what.
Well, I don't mean to laugh.
And then that's why I say I'm not trying to be particular, like funny like that. But tell me he didn't look just in better overall
He
health.
looked like he was happy.
I don't know if it's the hair.
He
Again,
looked younger last night.
Yeah, he looked good though.
Yeah,
I mean, on some real shit, he really looked like he was happy to be back there.
and he kind of did like the little balding shave buzz thing in AEW. Maybe that was like aging him or something.
Yeah. He got a taper last night. He got
Yeah.
a taper. He's like,
He
yo.
was happy when he went to AEW at first.
No,
Yeah,
he
he was happy.
First
when he was-
promo,
Yeah.
he got to say what he wanted to say.
Nah, I sat here on this show and told y'all months ago when he went to that Raw and he squashed his beef. You could go back and watch the episode. I literally said he's trying to get himself fired. He don't want to work there no more. I've been telling y'all for months. I've been telling y'all for months. And I just been sitting here.
No. I will say
That's
this. I mean, he has been consistent with this. We had discussions on the side about it and everything. He said, "Watch it." He said,
He's
"Watch
trying
it."
to get himself fired.
So let's transition to
Lord
AEW.
Joseph do
though.
it next.
Let's transition to AEW.
This is gonna be a whole.
Will Ospreay should void the check.
I got a problem with that, man.
I'm not mad at Will Ospreay
don't care about
for
him.
pick. I think his talent is still going to speak for himself, and he can very well become the face of AEW. where AEW is at today, and I'm not saying that they're going to ever top, or I don't want to say ever, but immediately top WWE. I'm just saying that his decision for going to AEW can be. I don't think money is obviously a factor in these decisions, right? But I think he had personal connections and already worked with the talent there. He worked with Tony Khan before. He felt comfortable with that situation.
With that.
That's his, his choice.
Damn,
Again,
I
to
wanted
me,
to see him
I
there,
feel like
man.
his ceiling, though, he can be the face of that company, wherever that may be. It's just he will become known if he's already known in the wrestling circuit. But I think his talent, even if this contract when that is up, it's still going to be high bid for him wherever he goes next.
And maybe that's what it was. Is that like they maybe it's like you're the most that we can pay you right now based off of who you are and your exposure is $2 million. So he goes to AEW, runs that for a year or two,
And
and
now
it bumps
it's-
up to $4 million.
Correct.
And then they're like, okay, you're worth every bit of that $4 million.
Correct.
Let's sign you and come over here now. And then he goes to WWE, and instead of making only $5 million at that time, he's gonna make $8 or $9 million for them and merchandise and all that good
To
stuff.
me, his future is still set.
Yeah.
As long as nothing catastrophic happens, he still can create his.
The one thing I was happy about was the fact that he did slow his style down just a little bit. You know what I mean?
I want one more year.
Yeah, but also
madness.
I want one more year.
because here's the thing: Jericho reached out.
I know they
Jericho
all
reached
went out to him. Yeah.
and saying, "Just calm down," and like you're going to preserve your body, and you can actually have the longevity in the business. I think that first of all, New Japan's relationship with AEW, I think, is strong. I was saying to you guys earlier before we went on the air that I feel that AEW is basically New Japan America. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that, in my opinion. I don't think there's anything wrong with that because now you can intertwine all the talent, between the Ring of Honor brand, New Japan and AEW. And again, that's your fan base. And if you want to appease that fan base, cool. You know what I mean? And let that be your bread and butter. Because granted, there's a little sprinkle of sports entertainment. I get that, and you need that sometimes. But I just think in the case of Will Ospreay, hey, you got a show in London coming up next August, and they're gonna sell that thing out. And I would imagine that he's going to be in the conversation of possibly main eventing that show, for the world title.
For sure.
So I think
That's a
that
good
if he
question.
wants, I think, headlining, a stadium like Wembley, in your home country at the iconic, Wembley Stadium, that's a good that was a good selling point. You know what I mean? Especially with WWE, you just would have been a guy on the roster. And think about it for a second. The majority of the WWE fans don't know who he is.
Right.
So that would have been a chore for WWE to get him familiar with their fan base. Now, obviously, we're a small percent where we know everybody as far as the other companies and everything. Whereas with the hardcore fan, is just a small percentage.
You really believe that?
Absolutely, 100%.
I do too.
The hardcore, like if you look at the consumer as far as WWE is concerned, there's more casual fans that watch WWE than hardcore fans. They outweigh it because there are far more. How do I put this?
They want to appease the.
They want to
soccer mom
appease.
with the-
Absolutely, they want to appease a different, and then you got to look at the dollars and cents of it too, as far as how much money they're going to be spending on merchandise and this and that or whatever.
That's
They
the
want to
point I was
get
trying
that.
to-
They want to get that one viewer who's never seen it before to come back to the next show.
Absolutely.
They already know the diehard fans is going to show up,
And that's why, right? And they don't really care about the diehard fan most of the
because they
time.
know they're going to show.
They're going to show up regardless.
And
As much as
Gonna
they
be that
bitch and
one
moan,
mom that's
right?
going to have that kid that wants to bring them back.
Absolutely.
They
So
can't book Will Ospreay versus Logan Paul this year, but in 2 years they can most certainly book it, and it will be one of those matches where it's going to be highly anticipated.
Yawn.
Oh, no.
Fucking yawn.
No.
I just
think-
only reason why I say that is because of
Yawn.
who Logan Paul is and the
Oh,
attention he gathers.
Yeah, I'm with Logan Paul, but yawn on Ospreay.
Really?
Ask Jay White the same fucking thing y'all just said. Oh, it's going to be a big opportunity. Wait, look, and he got what you say yesterday, Brian. They what they promised him and what they end up doing was two different things.
Yeah, that's a whole different.
I say that's straight bleed into our whole next segment. Now.
They play everybody. They tell you one thing, you come over there, and you hit. Don't worry, Ospreay be dropping to Jericho soon.
I mean, you know what though? That's no different than any wrestling promoter.
And what if they promised him next year Wembley, you versus CM Punk is in the main event?
What?
What
You mean
if Punk
MJF?
gone.
No,
You mean
what-
MJF?
No. But I'm just saying, what if he was banking on being able to get him back, and then
Nah,
like
he
next
was going-
year
he was
we're going to preview or we're going to give you CM Punk and Wembley.
He was already going.
'Cause who else are you booking?
Way how they was.
Omega? Him and Omega 3.
It was going already. He was going already. It's either Omega. So let's talk about rosters real quick. So
Okay.
we're talking about AEW, right? And so he's been talking about it for a while. MJF, 2024. I'm a little. I don't want him to talk about it because the more he talks about it, I feel like AEW already
That's the rumor.
Yeah,
that he signed.
He
already got it.
secretly resigned the deal.
he already got his bread.
And I hate that he keeps saying it. I wish it was just more just discreet. But does this change opinions for existing AEW rosters about how they actually want to navigate their career? Trying to go back, trying to maybe leave AEW to wherever. So I'm saying this because we're looking at I know y'all were talking about Andrade earlier, but I'm looking at Malachi Black, right?
He's got to go. I'm sorry. He does
And
not. He
Malachi Black
be there.
seems to be, and oh man, they had that little scene where they sat in the ring together
That
shit
was,
early in the
that
year.
was a match I didn't know I needed until that happened.
Yeah, him and Punk.
He does not need to be there.
He definitely doesn't have the blinders when it comes to his character, as far as saying, "I don't see nobody else."
And you was over. Matter of fact,
So-
he was the main one saying that his presentation was better fit.
Correct, and I feel
That whole group.
him
The whole group.
and to some extent, I wish Penta got something where I feel like the storylines for them just fits WWE better.
They were trying to get Penta, but he didn't trust the system.
Yeah,
I bet he's looking at it now like,
I think he's stuck with
I-
Kenny Omega, man. He's been with Kenny Omega. They've been like either way.
I think right now, I mean, just the way based on how the WWE is booking right now, it's in the ring. They're a lot safer. I mean,
Yeah.
they are a hell of a lot safer. And I mean, that's good for the talent in them. So they're going to at least have like at least maybe a good 4 or 5 more years left to their careers when they're over with. Because they always are preaching safety first. No matter how people think the repetitive the moves there are or whatever it is, you're not going to do nothing too crazy over there where it's going to like mess somebody up.
So does this do something to the morale of the roster at AEW?
Yes.
Yeah and no. Because number one, they're still getting the paycheck. That's the first thing.
Right.
Yeah, a
All right.
decent one.
A decent one, yeah. And also too, but also even okay, so granted, let's just say some people's contracts do expire, whatever the case may be. I'm glad, even as a professional, that there's options.
Yeah.
There's
Right.
options to go places now.
Right.
There's MLW, who's shout out to Court Bauer, who's doing incredible business now. There's obviously there's New Japan. Then you have AEW. You have Impact, who's doing incredible business.
They just need that one guy.
Yeah, and there's the
They're missing one
NWA
person.
that just got their deal with CW. So they're on the CW app now. So it's like there's so many different companies that's making a lot of noise right now where wrestlers can actually hone their craft.
Now, off subject, but I just want to like interject one question. Do you think wrestling business has been booming better now since it's more options, or do you think it's more of like social media getting everybody aware of what's going on and what other talent's going on there?
It's a mix of a lot of things. To me, I thought that the planting of the seeds of the boom was 2015 when social media, like a lot of people are starting to make a lot of noise, where a lot of the indie companies are starting to, gain traction, when you're starting to understand who some of these guys are that are not only in these United States, but around the world, Japan, Europe, Mexico, you know what I mean? All these other different countries and all these different companies, that was starting. And then you're starting to see, people going here. Then, of course, what happened September 1st, 2018, All In happened, which I thought was the beginning of the wrestling boom.
Yeah. And they mentioned that last night, too.
That was crazy that they kind of acknowledged it.
September 1st, 2018 is going to go down. It's going to be one of the most important dates in the history of the world of professional wrestling because
ironically, it's Cody Rhodes.
Right. All of these guys, because Cody was saying that they had a calendar and they had to figure out what day is everyone not working. You know what I mean? And it was September 1st. So they had to get, obviously Okada. Then they had to get Omega. They had to get dates on everybody that was there. A very young MJF at the time who was in the Battle Royal. He was in the opening match against...
Was it Kip Sabian?
I think so. So there were so many, elements that had to come together. And it was off of a bet that Dave Meltzer made that said no one can sell out a $10,000 seat arena.
And All In was supposed to be a one-off, right?
It was supposed to be just a one-off, and then that was the planting of the seeds for AEW.
Yeah, because that was before all that.
Yeah. So I believe that All In truly started the wrestling boom that we know now, because now you're talking about everyone had these different options. AEW comes around. They're shelling out all these dollars. It's again, the WWE had to step up their game because people were leaving. Moxley let his contract run out. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, his last the tribute to the Shield they did at that house show. I forgot where it was. Mox had a check for like $500. That's all he got.
I remember
paid.
he said that.
He had
yeah.
$500. So
Damn.
it's like, yeah. So he goes over there. Jericho goes over there. So it's like you got two big names that are starting in this upstart company. You know what I mean? So I think that's when the wrestling boom started, and it ushered in more opportunities for wrestlers to hone, like I said, to hone their craft. And again, when I feel as though when WWE's doing good business, it's a trickle down effect because that means AEW is going to do good business, and that means Impact's going to do good business. MLW is going to do good business. You know what I'm saying? And that's how it all works. So like I said, I'm proud just being involved and just I'm feeling the effects somewhat because, with shameless plug, Monster Factory on Apple TV. You can see it now. I'm actually featured on it a little bit. But yeah, but that got shine on us because of all this is happening. You figured to film a docuseries and all this. So everyone's feeling the part of the wrestling boom. So I didn't mean to give you a long way to answer, Jules, but that
No.
that's basically what that comes down to. I believe Planting of the Seeds is like 2015, 2016, but All In started the wrestling boom.
Yeah. And it's hard to say though, but I just feel like WWE, the Celtics right now.
Well, but you also got to understand something.
I'm looking
the
at
WWE.
This, I'm looking at this as and again, this is a long term thing. This ain't just the title going to get decided tomorrow type of deal. But when you look at, and again, I'm looking at the roster. So I'm looking at the Celtics roster, and I'm looking at the rest of the East.
Yeah.
They got at least 10 guys in the E right now that can carry
AEW
that
the Sixers.
They might be.
But here's the
I'm gonna be biased.
but here's the thing.
Yeah, because everybody want to leave, right?
Right, but here's a great. But wait, but I'm glad you said that. Here's the correlate. Here's a great correlation to
You
that.
gotta edit that part out.
Wait, here's the thing. But wait, you made a really good point. Think about it. Who has the most titles? Is it tied with the Celtics and the Lakers? Correct.
Yeah.
So obviously, with the Celtics having the most championships and that type of thing, WWE has a 60. Think about it, they're 60 years old.
Right.
So of course they have the lineage and they have the infrastructure and all of that equity that has been built in for us historic all of these decades. So of course they're gonna be the worldwide leader.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
And I'm partly being funny, but a year ago, when we were still new with this podcast, we had a good conversation about AEW, and this was when I felt AEW was hitting its stride. This is before CM Punk got in trouble. This is MJF, CM Punk in the midst of that feud.
Yeah, the dog collar match. Yeah.
And we're having this conversation. I don't know if everybody bored, but I think Jason was. We're looking at, well, AEW has a potential to, really change the dynamic of the wrestling landscape. And I don't know if I'm alone on that thought, but a year ago prior, I know we had this conversation. We were under the train like, they got something right now.
Once they acquired Punk, that was the big
MJF
superstar that
was
you were able
hitting
to
his
get.
stride with Punk. And MJF was looking like a top
villain,
a top tier talent.
And they was going hard when they ain't have no audience.
But this was after the audience had came back. But and remember, we were saying WWE was getting kind of stale at this time.
But I never thought that.
But now we fast forward till today, and I'm telling you, just like it felt like the offseason happened and Celtics retooled their roster. And now it's like, God,
But
how'd they get there?
But you know what, though? There was never, ever any doubt in my mind that WWE would never be the number one company in the world.
But I
they
didn't
can
think
have.
the scale was going to change that much in a year.
their whole dynamic changed.
You talking about like the
This was
the
like,
masses' attention.
it wasn't even that. I just felt like AEW had momentum prior to that first MJF incident. And honestly, right before then, we had that MJF rant. We had Punk feuding with MJF, but Punk feuded with who before that?
Eddie Kingston, wasn't it? Was it King?
Eddie King. Oh, it was Hangman. It was Hangman.
Hangman Page.
and him
Hangman
had
A lot of that I tuned out on. I ain't gonna lie. Like it was a lot of AEW.
But there was a lot of, I would say, chat about it. Regardless, you may have not watched it. I just feel like there was people tuning in and aware
He was
of
the catalyst of that company at the point.
what was going on in AEW. Tell me a few right now in AEW that's not Chris Jericho or I mean, who else can you put in there?
They don't have a fees.
I mean, Christian Cage right now.
No,
Christian-
don't talk about that one.
That's
I will give you that. Christian Cage to me though is probably the best he's been in his career
yeah.
Hands down.
right now.
And who punk ass over there now about to mess it up?
Edge.
Okay. I'm like, I told Jason that's one thing that makes me watch every Wednesday is him.
With that damn turtleneck, right?
Turtleneck guy.
Yo, when that man, when he walked in there and he had a damn sleeveless turtleneck, I said, I'm done.
Facts.
When he took that jacket off, and I was expecting him to be long sleeves.
I just want to answer Tavon's question. See what happened when all y'all was biting, right? Y'all was falling for it. Y'all just got Bernie Madoff. They promised y'all a return. And the whole time Cap was sitting here like, yeah, this is still not going to end well for him.
We fell for what?
Yep, they fell for the Ponzi scheme. He promised them. They thought AEW. Tavon was like, yeah, AEW gonna kill WWE.
I know I didn't say this.
No, I did.
Jules was over here.
I will admit what I said.
Jules.
I will admit what I said.
Nothing like that.
Jason too.
I never thought.
I will admit.
Listen,
Maybe because it was post McMahon Renaissance or what was going on, because Vince was running the show. A lot of people were tuning out what Vince was watching and was watching AEW for an alternative.
they had compelling stuff.
Oh yeah,
And I will admit that.
I didn't
I
think
was not
WWE
watching
would go
those.
away, but I thought they were really going to be able to give WWE hell.
I was.
They were gonna give him hell for years.
I was, just because of what MJF and Punk was doing. That was some damn good television.
It
what
was
they were
more
doing.
compelling
I
than
didn't even
what.
watch any of it.
It was some good shit
I
they
did.
were doing.
Were you missing some good stuff?
They
bro?
were doing some
Really,
good
it was
shit.
Brian, you
really,
ain't
it
missed
was really
nothing.
good television. Really good television.
I missed all that.
Yeah.
It was really
I was
good.
uninterested.
It was.
Is that because
it
of
was-
personal
it was
preference? Because of
Oh yeah, I
No.
definitely. I was like, yo, they gonna give WWE hell
some
for
help
years
for
to
this
come.
feud, man.
I personally,
And-
the reason why, the reason why I wasn't into MJF, opposed to why I kind of like him now, is that for me, MJF was doing everything that CM Punk was doing in 2011. I didn't want to see another CM Punk thing. I've been saying that for a long time. I didn't want to see another version of that, because all he do is come out there and holler and cuss and try to make the other guy look bad. Like, we've seen this before. Like, he didn't do anything interesting that I seen that make me go, oh, that's different, until he started doing this stuff with Adam Cole. And it's unfortunate that he got injured. Like, this is the only time I've ever been interested in this cat. The whole time he's been, doing this thing is right now. And it's like, oh, since Cole got hurt, he got to, he had to do this stuff on his own now. And he's been having good matches with Omega, Samoa Joe, Jay White, all these cats he's been having these good matches with. I'm just like, oh, okay, he is pretty good. I've been missing this because I wasn't paying no mind.
Gotcha.
Yeah, but them feuds, I really thought just when Ham and Punk were feuding
All
in
this
that
stuff
company.
on my head.
When they were feuding, when they was going over, they was having some damn good feuds. Me and Jason was sitting here like, damn. It was like one bomb coming after another, and then
But they don't have who's their flagship guy that you can watch right now.
they don't have
That was my question. That was kind of saying like, damn. Now I feel like
Okay.
they the Sixers.
Oh, man. We gotta do the
But
best dynamic
and that's
duo
not to
playing.
talk bad about AEW, because I do think there's
I
still
like
some
that
great
they're on
talent
return,
on there. I just think that
they don't have a
the
face.
cards are stacked against them right now,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't know if it's something they can dig out immediately,
He can get fixed.
but they have great talent.
I hope it
I
does
think,
get fixed.
and y'all know I like Swerve. I think Swerve is due for a great push.
I think he got next.
I hope.
He better have now.
Because that match was incredible.
Y'all have faith.
I got my
Again, I'm hoping.
I hope he's.
I ain't gonna hold my breath.
But,
I ain't gonna hold my breath.
but that should be the guy right now. I mean, especially after that match.
And we'll see what Osprey does when he gets there. But yeah, it does seem like that the scale is tipped favorably back in the WWE with this acquisition.
No, they can fix it though. All jokes aside.
And this
How they
kid,
fix it?
And how so?
So number one, I think they expanded that tour too fast. I told y'all that before. If they smart, what Bischoff did for those first few years, you put them in how Impact was. You put them in a studio. You start all the way over. He went too big with arenas and everything. He did everything too fast, if you ask me. He should have stayed small, then stayed in the studio. Then you went out for special like pay-per-views and stuff. You could have went to Chicago, go to New York, go to LA or something. You don't need to try to tour that fast. Like me personally, they shouldn't. Like how was it? WCW had the Saturday night little shit, man.
center stage.
Yeah. He should have, like, to me, at the Daily's place, they should have made that their permanent hub for about 3 years. Build that joint up, then go out. Like, you going out, like when Edge came out, and he turned to the one side, oh yeah, never mind, nobody over here, let me go to the other side. That's embarrassing, dog.
Well, I see that point, like trying to make it like it could have been its own ECW arena, and like how they, the
Yeah, they bring stuff.
NXT now is still in that same building every week. So it's like it's the same audience that's there probably, every weekend. Maybe they got different people filtering in and out when they can get a ticket for a new audience member or whatnot. But I don't know. In this
It can
era,
get fixed. Trust
I think you got to move. I think you got to. If you're on TV Wednesday, what are they on TV?
Wednesday, Friday, and Saturday.
Yeah, Wednesday, Friday.
That's too much.
They got to be in a different city when they show those shows.
Well, we know why Saturday's there.
Yeah,
But also too,
Shout
think
out
about
to
this first.
Collision.
No, but when you got Warner Discovery, and they were the ones that came to them about Collision,
They wanted Punk back.
right? So yes, but the thing is, and that's the thing. They say, hey, we're going to give you more money for to put out more content, which means you're going to get more ad revenue when you're having all these different companies, showing commercial, whatever the case may be.
Right.
I think that if they were to do smaller venues, a 4,000 to 5,000 seater, which I think is still big, you can still do that, and you can still, especially how you can shoot.
it's not a gymnasium.
Right, it's not a gymnasium, so you could do the 4,000 to 5,000 seat arenas, college arenas, whatever the case may be. Do that and continue to tour, and I think too, where Tony is going to have to really start getting a backbone, and what I mean by that is you're going to have to put your foot down. Because it's going to be a lot of egos in pro wrestling. It's going to be a lot of egos you're going to have to deal with, a lot of big, larger-than-life personalities. But you're going to have to check – everyone's going to have to check their egos at the door.
Him too.
If they want
Right.
to work again.
But – and also, too –
Classic case of a guy checking his ego right now is Triple H.
Right. And also – and for me – and another thing with Tony is that the other thing that I've never really enjoyed about AEW, and again, I love AEW. I hope, and I want nothing but the utmost respect as far as success for what they're doing. Heck, I want to work there someday. But stop mentioning the other team.
Do your own damn thing.
Stop mentioning. I mean, even like
That big announcement should be killing me.
yeah, it's a bit overkill. My thing is that big announcement that he did for the ticket sales for Wembley. That's to me, I would have rather. And again, I know
That was reaching for me though, man. That was like,
that. I think to me, if you had obviously there was obviously Flair has signed. I would have rather had reserved that to say that Ric Flair signed versus saying, hey. Another country, we're going to be selling tickets this week, or whatever, or the pre-sale or whatever. I'm like, that's not a big announcement. A
That's
big
something you
announcement
could've
is
put
saying,
online.
if I had the option, I would have saved that for Flair, knowing that Flair's still a name. He was going to be around. He has the partnership with Woo Energy and all that, and I get it. But getting back to what I was saying before about mentioning, as far as name drop, like the rant he did when NXT beat. Was it Dynamite on the ratings?
butthurt over
and I'm
that,
like,
man.
dude, like that was just not like that is not what an owner of a company does. You would have never seen Vince McMahon going on Twitter to rant. Granted, it's a different, similar. Different,
You know what? And Vince has never done that. He's took pop
Even
shots.
now.
He's took pop shots, but he's never really went out deliberately.
He's
and
not
just,
worried
like,
about no-
he didn't worry about
He's taking pot shots at WCW. He's taking pop shots.
it. Wasn't to the degree
No,
of
it
what he's
wasn't.
doing.
Yeah, but he's actually taking pot shots at the government, which I thought was hilarious.
He beat the government.
Yeah, he did. He
Twice.
did.
Only man to do it.
Yeah, but the thing is that you can't have meltdowns like a petulant child online about another company, and they brought out the bells and whistles with the Undertaker and Cena and Asuka, Becky Lynch, and all the people that's on the main roster to combat you. Yeah, because you have a
Competition.
competition.
Yeah,
but
your guy is popping. MJF was popping.
exactly. So my thing is, at the end of the day, 1.5 million people watched pro wrestling that night. So going on a meltdown like that, I just think that I wouldn't want to work for a company that does that, because you're supposed to set the example of like, listen, don't go out, don't do anything stupid. One thing my coach Danny Cates always tells us all the time: just don't do stupid shit, especially on social media, which could easily backfire on you.
Say that again.
He has gone on record and told everybody that all the time. Watch what you say on social media, because you never know. People can go back into your history and
dig 'em
see
up.
what you may have said.
There's a screenshot.
Right, exactly. So So if you're the boss, why are you going to go on a meltdown?
Yeah,
You know what I'm
like
saying? Because if I was to go on a meltdown or whatever the case, I may have said something, ill-advised, and then all of a sudden it's come back on me and I get fired. But granted, one with the gold rules, I get that. But at the same time, I just that's just some of the things I think. And again, with AEW, it's all about just tightening the screws. The infrastructure's there. The money is there. The money, the marketing, the mouthpieces is there. It's just, all right, let's tighten the screws here, there, here, and there. And once they start to get their footing back, they'll be fine. And again, I want nothing but success for that company.
So how does that happen? Like who?
I know how you.
What is the mechanism that tightens that?
I think what he needs is somebody that's going to be there, and I got a person in mind that is really going to just everything goes through him, and that's Mark Henry. He's currently there right now at AEW. He works in their
at the moment
say that.
He's in their community relations. He does a lot of the things with the community, but he talked about some things on Busted Open Radio about a couple weeks ago during the time where Punk had got fired, and he talked about just conversations he used to have with Vince McMahon about being the boss and not being so chummy with talent a lot. You know what I mean?
You gotta separate yourself.
You gotta set. He has to set. In turn, Tony has to set. So again, if he would have had a Mark Henry there like from day one, or would have had somebody in there, because again, those EVP guys, I can't take them seriously.
I kind of disagree with you on that.
Okay.
Because to be honest with you, when it first started, which I really think how it started, when you let Cody run the show, Tony Khan used to come out. All I do is book the show. I'm not going to be seen or nothing. They had a nice run when they first started. It's just when he took Cody off of there from booking the show. That's what I really legit think happened why Cody left. I think Cody did that show. He said, boom. Tony Khan was like, oh, dang, I can invest in you. Here goes some money. So he probably told them, remember when they came out and it was like, they told them go get guys. They went and got guys. And then I think he's seen the show was getting to, oh, yeah, let me start putting my, how investors get when they want, oh, yeah, that's what I think really happened. When they first started, I loved the show. It was original. It was new. It was people you never seen, you heard in the indies. And they didn't rely on ex-WWE guys.
John Moxley.
Yeah, I mean,
Jericho.
they just had, but they still had
It's fine.
other people.
It's fine to sprinkle one or two.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But they
there,
still had other people, and it was a fresh new product. You had people running it. He was just the investor. And then I just believe once he came and, I want to bring this person in and do this, it was washed for me after that. It was like watching Ted Turner all over again.
But in that, I mean, and again, it's I understand, your point, Cap, about, ex-WWE people and stuff. But at the end of the day, they still need to, there's a gimmick, them gimmicks called bills don't ever stop.
You got that right.
And you have to, and these guys have to work. I mean, granted, obviously there's other companies out there, whatever, but if you think about it, some of these ex-WWE guys were used to getting the big money and everything. There's an option now to get still equal amount of income that they were getting prior to being let go from WWE.
I get
so
it.
although I do, like I said, I understand what you're saying, but at the same time, it's like, well, where else are they gonna go? If they're being let go, whatever, where are they gonna go?
This is your chance to introduce new stars. But this I'm seeing the same shit play off again. They had the chick that was just dominating everything. You kept her away from a fucking woman's title. And then what happened? Just like take it back to when WCW had Benoit and all them. Wasn't even using them right. Then once they left and went over there and then other people seen, oh damn. It took for Cody to leave, Jade leaving. They're gonna keep losing people.
I think Cody leaving was
That's the ripple effect. That's what started it.
biggest loss that they had.
And it was the way they brought him in at WrestleMania.
No promo to it. No vignette. No nothing.
Rockstar status.
I just wish.
Came in like he
They
was
lost.
U2 or
They lost.
or the Beatles.
I'm not, and I hope AEW succeeds, but you cannot deny that they lost Jade, Cody, and
CM Punk.
Their
and
biggest draw.
CM Punk,
The one that
and you lost your biggest draw that was giving you some eyes on your company. They got some serious work to do.
I just wish he listened to what's the name when he was trying to school and give him game. Don't do what Garrett Bischoff said. You're doing the same.
And they were
thing
thinking he was
I'm
talking
doing.
crazy. And then
Bischoff was telling him.
now it's coming to fruition.
It kind of feels like a pipe bomb went off, and right now we're just dealing with all the aftermath and the smoke.
Because right now,
all the shrapnel that's still in people.
who's going to put people ass in seats in AEW? Be honest with me.
That's my question. I don't know either. Like I honestly don't know who
They don't have
they can put out there. Who this Wednesday?
Who takes the flag, like you say, go somewhere?
Who on Wednesday can start the show with that heart pounding promo?
Christian, stop playing
ends
with
the
me.
match or that
Christian, stop playing with me, Brian. Christian.
Well, I'm just saying though. Do you really put that in his hands? Like he had what champion is he? They got so many titles.
TNT
He's
champion.
a TNT champion.
He's a TNT champion, and he's not the world champion. So you want to start your show off with the TNT champion, and who does he close the night out with?
And they're relying again on the next WWE
That
guy.
they can do that they can do this every Wednesday, every Collision, every Rampage. Like who's this guy that they have that can do that every time they're on TV?
It seems like now they're really pushing MJF to be the face of the
right now
company.
it's MJF.
I mean that's who they're pushing. But now that they signed Will Ospreay, that may change very, 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 very quickly.
What I'm saying, to me, like that's what I miss about even in WWE to an extent, is they don't be having like I remember how Steve Austin or Vince McMahon used to start up the end of, the beginning of Raw, then the end of the night.
yeah.
It all led to what they were going to do. They do it on SmackDown more often than they do on Raw, but they don't do that in AEW. They don't have that what is it called, a bookend. They don't do it in AEW. It's always something that they want so far left that I done forgot what happened in the beginning of the program.
Yeah.
The storylines don't make sense.
Yeah.
Right, and I think it's more that they and then Tony's really big on the dream match because again a lot of their fan base, AEW fan base, they love that indie style, indie-rific matches where it's like the oohs and the ahs and the the moonsaults and the this and the that and the work rate and hoping that Meltzer gives it a 5 stars, which I think is the dumbest.
And we know what, and if that is the case, that's how they need to showcase their product instead of having what's his name, MJF dealing with who stole his devil mask and all that stuff. Get rid of all that stuff. If you know that what's going to get you over, like the having the high spot matches and stuff like that, pray those guys don't get hurt that week and continue to do it. If that's what you do, to get you over, that's going to get you paid, it's going to put butts in the seats, you do it. You're going to lose guys like Edge, you're going to lose guys like Miro, you're going to lose all those guys that's like, I want to conserve my health. I don't want to do these kind of matches.
You're gonna lose MJF.
Yeah, probably him too. It's like you're gonna lose all of your people, and Darby Allin's gonna run your company.
And I just want to say that boy be taking some shots.
But me personally, I'll be saying this all the time. I say this all the time. I think Darby Allin, Orange Cassidy, Hook, and Ricky Starks will be NXT legends right now. If they put them guys right there in NXT right now, they'd be legends.
Yeah.
Especially Darby Allin.
That's if he come back, Brian. Stop saying that.
I'm serious. Like everybody, especially women, they like a guy who is like dark and mysterious. That's that guy all day. They are not showcasing him in that way to have people want to see him win. They did it one time, and that was when they was doing that build up to the Pillars match. And then they started doing all this other weird stuff, and I stopped watching.
I mean, in the beginning, he was like that.
But what was he? Where did it go? Like that's what I'm saying. Is like it doesn't go anywhere.
His music go hard.
And you know what's crazy with AEW? It seemed like they're a face one week, and then they're a good guy one week. It's no really like a consistency.
Yeah, there's not a long-term
that's
storytelling.
That's my big problem with him.
It
I
can
think,
change week to week.
Well, I think the thing is with TK is that he has so much on his plate. Think about it. He's running a
He's
wrestling.
out.
He's running.
And
First of all, he's running a wrestling company, 3 shows, right? Then he's working front office with the Jags, and he's also doing the football club over.
He's
in
getting
Europe.
stretched too thin right now.
Yeah, and it's like I think and granted, it's all cool that you get to do all these cool things, but you need, especially in the wrestling space,
Somebody to
you need
focus.
somebody
Yeah.
that's going to actually do. You need
Do the
to
damn
delegate.
job.
You need to You need to delegate responsibility to people that do work there to do all of these things. So in other words, you can give direction. Okay, seg 1, we can do this. You gotta go. Okay, seg 6, we're gonna do this, whatever. So lay it out. Have your production meeting, and then let your producers handle all the other stuff while you could just sit back and just watch.
Yeah.
If of course you need to make some changes or whatever, of course you're gonna do that. But I just think that he has a lot on his plate, and I just think that he needs to delegate more or bring more people in the front office so they can do more things, because I think having all that responsibility is, you can clearly see where it's like, all right, whatever is in the moment. Oh, I'm going to do this week because, okay, we're going to do this. Oh, we're going to do that in the other week, without really. And that's what I'm saying. It almost reminds me of indie shows, because on the indies, granted, you may have some stories here and there, whatever, but you may get a talent that may have been hot on the indies in Chicago versus this hot talent over in Jersey or whatever, and they get the tangle for the first time. Oh, it's a dream match.
Like how Ring of Honor used to be.
You know what I mean? Like,
But
it's almost like, on the indies, shout out to Jay Bougie and Bobby Buffet. They never wrestled before. That's the match I would love to see on the indies. You know what I mean? But again, but it's on national television, and you're getting all these different dream matches, and I think that the dream match factor, I think, is starting to fade away because we're starting to see it a little too much.
But going back to what you said about having producers and stuff in charge of the shows, and then you got talent that a producer tells that they're not allowed to do something, and then the talent tells them, we're going to do it anyway. So then you ask one of your veterans to possibly go talk to that talent. And then
Right before he goes out to his class.
and then the talent doesn't even listen to the veteran. And then the veteran got to choke the talent, and then the veteran's gone.
So, but you missed the key part is when he tried to jump over a table, made him fear for his life.
Yeah, and then the veteran came back to talk to you about it, and you fear for your life. So
I mean, Nails apparently choked Vince McMahon, and Vince McMahon's doing fine, right?
yeah. Shit,
Lesnar.
Bret Hart, cold cock.
Yep.
He knocked Vince McMahon the hell out.
Vince actually had a shiner under his left eye for a while.
If you don't want your executive crying to the police, getting lawyers and shit after you pop them, come to WWE.
Oh man, got the Suge Knight line. Oh my god.
Punk went from one con to work to another con.
Oh shoot! Yeah.
True.
And he might,
yeah.
you know what? And honestly, real rap, he might have been the one, because I listen to him and how he speaks. He speaks like a seasoned car salesman.
Who is that?
Nick Khan.
Nick Khan.
Nick Khan, yeah.
He talks like
He worked at he
Well,
repped all them people.
He was a William Morris
Yeah,
agent.
William
William
Morris
Morris.
agent.
So he know how to sell his.
okay, yeah. So that makes sense. That makes
Yeah.
sense now. And it probably only took it legit took one conversation to hire CM Punk back.
In the 1 hour, yeah,
And
1 hour.
and the Bucks couldn't even sit in a room with him, and
They wanted him to say, "Oh, we need
you
to
know
wait
what?
6 months."
I think that
That was cool.
that decision, because it was said that CM Punk reached out to them and was willing to meet and let bygones be
And
bygones.
do the sit down to work.
And
with
I
each
feel
other.
like that's when his demeanor changed a little bit.
Yep.
When they said no, we not let him go whatever without having an incident, then
you don't.
no,
do
they
that
said
bullshit.
they said wait 6. They said we'll give it 6 months.
You don't do that bullshit. Nah,
that's-
You handle that shit right there.
She said she know he went 0-2 in the UFC.
he still beat y'all.
I'm sorry.
Both
That's,
of
that's just me taking
no,
shots
that's
at
just
CM
so-
Punk.
But
But
either
that's some
way.
real shit, though. I mean, if y'all, if he went out and really reached out and said, let's just try and really like squash this shit for the benefit of the company, I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt of it. That's just basically if like me and you arguing on this show about something that we don't like.
And he didn't want to just squash it. He wanted to see if they could work together.
Hey, right.
That was
Yep,
at the
yep,
time when
that's
he
what
was
it
going to
was.
have the
That's
he's
what it
gonna-
was.
He's going to have CMFTR
Versus
that,
the Elite.
and that was at the height of
That's
doing
what I
that.
was
that,
thinking
that
it was leading
CMFTR
to.
versus
That's what it was.
the Elite.
Man would have booked that thing immediately.
And told them, y'all better figure it out.
Yeah.
But that shows you where Punk's head was at, because even the fact that he had a beef with him, he still was able to see
The money
Yo,
in
this
it.
is money
Well, and-
if we do this.
Well, just think too, like some of them had me be like, maybe CM Punk was just like, I don't want to do anything now because he never like crossed paths with Jay Lethal there. He never crossed paths with Jeff Hardy. And those are guys he's brutally slaughtered.
After
Was he
the
gonna get from
incidents,
Jay
though,
Lethal or Jay Hart?
it's been suspension. That's a suspension. So it ain't really get it much. He didn't have much.
But, I mean,
After that first suspension,
that's just me. I'm about to unleash my personal feelings.
he came back, and then they went to Collision, and they were starting it with Ricky, right? And then we get to the next pay-per-view, and now he out. So he ain't really get.
And not to say we don't even know if they.
Hey, he won with the Pepsi plunge, man. How about that?
Yeah.
And then they may have
Can't
had
do that
con-
in
We don't know if they
I
had.
will say that's a good match to go out on out of AEW.
He opened up Wembley Stadium, and you could when he was waving goodbye, that was very, very telling. Cause I just said
That was ominous that he was out.
very good. I think he knew. I'm done.
And he let himself get seen bladed. When
Nah, that shit was crazy.
He didn't
That shit was
care.
he was
crazy.
on camera, he was like,
That shit was crazy.
CM Punk, come on, man.
He didn't give it.
Well, he was under the table trying to hire somebody.
he was
stuck their
underneath the
phone.
table.
Somebody stuck their phone down there and said, "Yo."
That shit was
He
crazy.
knew where that hole was.
But all right, yeah, we're getting a little up there. We're over 2.
And at least
So
Punk,
let's get some
Punk and Joe
final.
got
Some
that
final.
and at least Punk and Joe got that post match picture too.
Yeah. Hey, let's get some final thoughts out before we wrap it up. Anything you guys want to go back on? Last words you want to say before we get out of here?
Business is booming. Oh, thank you, D, for coming.
No, I was just gonna say thanks for the invite, guys. Again, I've plugged you guys on my show before, and this is not, again, I don't feel like I said, I feel like I'm not a guest. This is just, hey man, I'm just sitting up with my boys just talking, and that's just how that's really what podcast is really all about. It's just like, getting people you care about, and you guys can talk about whatever it is that you all are interested in, and having different opinions. We all had different, we were on the same lines, but I think we were all taking different detours to get to the point. But I just think that we had different ideologies on, okay, this situation versus that, and how we can get there. I respect all of you guys' knowledge about, all the things that we talked about today. I don't put myself above anybody. I'm just more or less like, hey man, I'm here basically just to share, some of the things that I've learned. And this is seeing the professional side of it, and then also being a fan at the same time. So I kind of have to look at it from a different lens, but also say, okay, as a fan, I want to see this too. So like I said, this podcast has been doing great. I'm glad I was able to be a part of it. This won't be the only time. Hopefully I can get to come back again, and I could be a repeat offender on the Watchers podcast.
Yeah.
I'm not a return guest. I'm a repeat offender. I'm going to say that.
We're gonna get you in the Hard ER podcast.
I get it. I have one. You said one last question on all that stuff, right? I have one question for D. And that was, how did it feel to come in second place at Podmania back in the summer?
Well, I could tell you right now, it was a hell of a lot better than third place.
Oh, shout out to Mike Mathis.
Pay for that organic burger.
Yeah. No. And let me just tell you something.
I forgot about that.
No. Those motherfuckers took them literally an hour to bring me my food.
Yeah, that was crazy.
I couldn't believe it. I didn't want to pay but I had to pay for it.
Beyond, somebody didn't pay for their Beyond Burger there.
Somebody got a free meal.
Where's that dinner?
No, I paid for my burger.
No, not you.
were good. Oh, not you, D.
wasn't you.
There was somebody that did not pay for the burger. They may have
Really?
been on the third, the third place team. Michael Mathis might know them.
Oh my god! I didn't know that.
But no, that was a good night.
He was
That a
like,
good
man,
night.
I was
can
told
hope-
there's gonna be free bowling and free food.
Yeah, hopefully we get to do that again next June, and we'll probably have more time to prepare, more time to get
Yeah,
more
still
people
fun.
involved and stuff, and I think it'll be cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun that day, though.
All right. Well, what episode? 56.
56.
Episode 56.
Seis.
The Watchers Podcast featuring the TheDLewPodcast.
Thank you.
I'm Tavon Tri-State _tip on Instagram.
Tiger Helly 19, Snapchats and iGeezys. Facebook by way of the government, Jason Williams. Follow the stripes.
Oh, me?
Yes, sir.
Smittywood 365 on Instagram.
Smitty Green Giant. formerly known as the damn damaging.
Oh, he reeks his head.
And on the left, he is still looking at football right now.
I was like, oh, damn, y'all done? I feel like it's been like 3 hours.
Come on, man.
Just close.
Let's close this
I
out.
gotta close it out.
Oh, shit. Yo, Instagram, Corey J.
And sir, plug yourself if you can.
Absolutely. You can check out the D-Lew podcast every Thursday on at 6 a.m. Eastern on Believe Network on multiple platforms. You can follow me on all social media platforms. At The Real DT Lew. Facebook is Derrick T. Lewis official page. You can go to my shop.derricktLewis.com. You can get some tees and hoodies and all that stuff. My single Espacion, was featuring Angie Stars, is on all platforms. The video was on Vivo, Apple Music, Tidal, and YouTube. So make sure you check that out.
All right. Till next time, ladies and gentlemen, peace out.